More simple disaster prep tips at ready.gov. A message from FEMA and the Ad Council.
92.7 WMAY.
Springfield's news and talk.
Springfield's dependable 5-day forecast on WMAY. Looks like sunny skies at least through the weekend. Today, high near 33, low around 22. Tomorrow, sunny with a high near 41, low tomorrow night around 13. Friday, sunny with a high near 23, low around 16. Saturday, mostly sunny and breezy with a high near 41. Sunday, mostly sunny with a high near 51. And Monday, partly sunny with a high near 53. I'm Don Howard, 92.7 WMAY.
Weather sponsored by Lauterbach Tire and Auto, home of Stage 2 service. Drive safely now.
This is the Crime Stoppers Crime of the Week, sponsored by Barcom Security.
Hi, I'm Officer Drew Zabados, Crime Stoppers Coordinator for Sangamon and Menard Counties. This week, Crime Stoppers is taking a moment to reflect on our efforts in 2022. With support from all of you, we took in 645 tips, solving 84 cases, and assisting law enforcement in making 37 arrests. Over $6,000 in cash, property, and drugs were recovered, 2 guns were taken off the street, and over $18,000 in tip rewards were approved for payout. None of this would be possible without your help, so from all of us at Crime Stoppers, thank you. We would also like to thank all those who sponsored or participated in our events. Finally, a big thank you to all of our local radio, news, and media outlets for your support. If you have any information about crime, call Crime Stoppers anonymously at 217-788-8427. Submit a tip on our website, cashfortips.us, or use the P3 app. If your tip results in an arrest, you could receive a cash reward up to $2,500. Remember, Crime Stoppers only want your information, not your name.
Catch a criminal, get a reward. Crime Stoppers of Sangamon and Menard County, sponsored by the Springfield office of Barcom Security. BarcomSecurity.com. Have a secure day.
Are you more concerned about crime than you were a year ago? You're probably not alone. But this rising wave doesn't have to catch you off guard. Barcom Security is protecting more Central Illinois homes and businesses every day. Being proactive and dealing with it now will keep you and your family more secure. Make it your next call. Contact the Springfield office of Barcom Security for a free estimate and have a secure day.
Start the new year off with a bang at Hendrick's Home Furnishings going on now. Take up to 30% off tag sale prices on all in-stock Lazy Boy furniture. That's right, up to 30% off of Hendrick's already discounted sale prices, not from MSRP or list prices like the other stores. In stock and ready for delivery only at Central Illinois' go-to store for Lazy Boy deals. Family-owned Hendrick's Home Furnishings, delivering fine furniture since 1949 on Route 4 in Verdon.
92.7 WMAY.
Springfield's news and talk.
An Illinois Supreme Court decision could be coming on the state's gun ban when it comes to a temporary restraining order from Effingham County. That's after the Illinois Attorney General said that they will ask for an expedited schedule to address the TRO that a Fifth Circuit court has upheld from Effingham County. The latest here now with Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY. Springfield's news and talk, and a lot to tackle, including getting the immediate reaction of Attorney Thomas DeVore, who secured that TRO in Effingham County on January 20th, and then appealed by the Attorney General. DeVore responded in the Fifth Circuit, and the Fifth Circuit Appellate Court yesterday issuing a ruling, which we'll go through in just a little bit of detail here, but essentially upholding the TRO moving forward. And now the case is going to go back to Effingham County for a potential trial, but you also have the Illinois Attorney General motioning to get this in front of the Supreme Court in an expedited fashion. So we'll hear from Attorney Thomas DeVore coming up. Chatted with him yesterday after the appeal was rejected essentially by the appellate court. But also we'll hear from some lawmakers I was able to get in front of. But I also want to hear from you at 217-629-7970. That's the phone number here, live and local on WMAY. I'm Greg Bishop. You can follow along, Bishop on Air, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Best ways to do it, though, either here on YouTube or on Twitter. You can message us that way. Just search Bishop on Air, and we can make that happen. But again, the best way to connect is live on the air at the phone. It's 217-629-7970. That's the phone number. You can call in live and local. But I want to, of course, break down some of the latest in the gun cases. Now, just to reiterate, we've got 9 different cases that we're watching to see how they go in challenging the state's gun ban, because the state enacted a ban on certain semi-automatic weapons January 10th. They also banned the future sale and possession of certain magazine capacities of more than 10 rounds for rifles and more than 15 rounds for handguns. Plus, you've got a gun registry that the state law creates that the window for that opens October 1st, and you have to register your previously owned firearms by January 1st. So if you have guns before the ban that fit this category defined by the General Assembly as assault weapons, then you have to register those with Illinois State Police. Still getting more detail and calling around and trying to find out how this has been enforced thus far. We, of course, found out this week confirmation from the Illinois State Police that they did conduct at least one enforcement detail against a business they said was advertising publicly the sale of banned weapons, and they took enforcement action, but we have yet to get any specific detail on that. Seeing all kinds of things online, but of course we want to get the official word before we report that out, so we'll continue to work on that. But all these different lawsuits, you've got multiple lawsuits in federal court. One that's filed by the Illinois State Rifle Association, another filed by a group, Illinois Gun Rights Alliance, another filed by the National Shooting Sports Foundation. You had a Crawford County state-level court case that was transferred to federal courts, so that you've got that one as well. Illinois State Police are looking to combine those 3 into the Crawford County case. We had a judge selected that was an Obama appointee in that consolidation request, but that judge transferred it to a Trump-appointed judge who is handling the ISRA case and the Federal Firearms Licensees of Illinois case. So the federal judge that was appointed by Trump is going to oversee those cases. But you also have the McHenry County state-level case that was transferred to federal courts. So whether or not that's going to be lumped into with these series of other cases, we'll see. Still pending, we have a temporary restraining order in federal courts pending a ruling, and that's out of the Naperville challenge. But you also have a state-level court case in White County from Attorney Thomas DeVore, where we could see a temporary restraining order ruling in the days ahead. So those are just a slew of some of the other cases. You've got another case over in Macon County, state-level court from State Representative Dan Calkins. They're actually going to have a hearing on that Friday afternoon, so we'll be covering that as well. But to the Effingham County case, which was the second state-level case, but the first one to get an emergency hearing, and they had that hearing the Wednesday before the 20th. Then Friday, you had the ruling come out, the Effingham County judge issuing a temporary restraining order on behalf of 866 plaintiffs that sued, meaning the state could not enforce the gun ban on those 866 individuals, several of which were owners of gun stores. So with that restraining order in place from the state being able to enforce that, those individuals could voluntarily go into and exchange money for guns and vice versa and purchase whatever firearms they wanted, like AR-15s, for instance, or semi-automatic rifles that have more than 10 rounds in a magazine. So you've got that temporary restraining order that was issued the 20th. The Illinois Attorney General appealing that in the Fifth Circuit, and then you have the Fifth Circuit yesterday issuing their ruling where they essentially upheld one of 4 counts. And I do want to go through this a little bit, and you can see this, of course, at the Fifth Appellate Court website, where you've got the long 866 plaintiffs. But the court of 3 justices on the appellate court, they analyzed everything. They took all the arguments in the briefs and unpacked it. You had a split decision here among the 3 justices. You had the justices, 2 of which were the majority opinion, siding with upholding the TRO, while a dissenting judge saying that they disagreed. But just to go through some of the arguments here, there were 4 counts that they reviewed. One dealt with the alleged violation of the single subject rule. And what this is, I'm going to do my best to explain this. I'm not a lawyer, but my best to explain this as I track what happens at the State House as a reporter. But the single subject rule deals with, legislation should deal with one subject. And typically when they file a bill, it'll say House Bill 1472, and it says amusement park rides. That's the subject it should deal with, according to the charge. But typically, lawmakers regularly go in and they strip that bill and replace a bill that's supposed to be about amusement rides and make it about banning weapons. So you can see how some may say that's a violation of the single subject rule. That happens all the time in the State House, especially at the tail end of any particular session, like we saw with lame duck session multiple times. But the Fifth District Appellate Court threw that out, said, no, that's not relevant. The second charge that Attorney Thomas DeVore brought was the violation of the 3 readings rule that they alleged. And that's where you have to read a piece of legislation 3 separate days, and it can be just House Bill 1472, a bill about amusement parks. And then the next day, House Bill 1472, this is second reading. House Bill 1472, this is third reading and final passage before it goes to the next chamber. The appellate court essentially threw that charge out as well, saying that's not relevant. So then they get to count 3, and there they say that the plaintiffs alleged that the passage of the act, the gun ban, violated due process as required by the state constitution that allows for meaningful opportunity to participate in the passage of the act. So the justices said, no, that's not relevant either. The count that they let stick, that Attorney Thomas DeVore really put on heavy, was the allegation that this violated the Equal Protections Clause of your rights, meaning if you, as an individual who have constitutional civil rights of free speech, freedom of the press, freedom of assembly, the Second Amendment right to keep and bear arms and so on, if any of those rights are going to be curtailed, there has to be a very strict standard that needs to be reached. And DeVore arguing in court that strict standard is not evident in this. So count 4, the alleged violation of equal protections, that was upheld, and that's where we get the TRO that's upheld by the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals. What is that issue of the equal protections? Well, I talked with Attorney Thomas DeVore yesterday, and he lays out some of that argument, and we'll hear that coming up here, so stay tuned. It is Springfield's Morning News on WMAY, now 6:20. Let's take a look at Springfield's dependable 5-day forecast, where, quite frankly, we've got a very mild forecast ahead, with a high of 33 today, mostly sunny. The low of 22, and then Thursday warming up to a high of 41. For your Friday, the high of 23, with then Saturday and Sunday, we're looking at highs approaching 50 degrees. By Monday, 53 the high with mostly cloudy skies. Right now, though, it's 8 degrees on WMAY at 6:20. From Culver's West on Wabash.
It's time to apply at Culver's West on Wabash. We're hiring all positions, and did we mention free food? Only at Culver's West on Wabash.
Rex with a double X battery. Generations of power.
You can jumpstart your car with a device you can hold in your hand. I'm Laurie from Rex Battery, and if you find yourself with a dead battery, the NOCO Genius Boost is all you need. You don't have to wait for a friend to show up, call a tow truck, or hope a stranger has jumper cables. If you have the NOCO Genius Boost, you have the charge you need to get your car going again. One charge can get you as many as 20 jumps. Rex Battery always carries the latest technology, and these small devices pack big power, enough oomph to start your cars, trucks, and even boats. They even have USB ports so you can get your phone powered up if you're stranded. The NOCO Genius Boost. Pick up one today at Rex Battery, Clear Lake, just west of Dirksen.
Rex with a double X battery. Generations of power.
Lucky, lucky, lucky. At Impact Life, we are lucky to have donors like you. To show how appreciative we are of you, right now, when you donate blood, we'll give you a voucher for a Kelly Green Changing the World Together t-shirt. Just in time for St. Paddy's Day. How festive. Or choose a voucher for a $10 gift card to one of our participating businesses. Even if you try to give blood and find out you can't, we're still giving you a voucher for a gift card or a lucky Kelly Green t-shirt. Don't delay. Make your appointment today. Giving blood is not a big deal, and you're done before you know it. Visit the Impact Life Donor Center today at Wabash and Chatham Road near Goodwill in Springfield, or on South Main Street in Decatur. Please give what's in your heart, because we are changing the world together. Visit bloodcenter.org.
The Verlo Mismatch Sale is back. It's our biggest sale of the year. Mismatch on the outside, the same Verlo long-lasting craftsmanship on the inside. So hurry in now and save an additional 10% off every mattress and box spring. Wake up, sleep better. Verlo.
Why waste another night on a mattress that's not comfortable or supportive? This is Caleb Kitzman with Verlo Mattress. Our mattresses aren't dropped off by the truckload like most mattress stores. At Verlo, we handcraft every mattress in our local factory. That means we custom fit a mattress for you, not the other way around. Stop in this month and pair any of our mattresses with an adjustable base and get up to $200 off. Verlo Mattress. We're not just building a better mattress, we're building a better night's sleep for less.
The Verlo Mismatch Sale is back. It's our biggest sale of the year. Mismatch on the outside, the same Verlo long-lasting craftsmanship on the inside. So hurry in now and save an additional 10% off every mattress and box spring. Wake up, sleep better. Verlo.
What's the best thing to do with your money during uncertain times? Financial experts agree products like certificates of deposit and money market accounts can be a safe haven from a bumpy economy. At Warren Boynton State Bank, we've been helping people find ways for their money to make money for 145 years. Certificates of deposit, or CDs, give you a guaranteed return on your money. Money market accounts are a way to let your money earn higher interest with the flexibility of a checking account. These are just two options we have at Warren Boynton, each designed to give your money security, and they just might help you sleep better at night. At Warren Boynton, you can say we've seen a few things over the years. A lot has happened since we opened our doors in 1877, but no matter what was going on in the rest of the world, we've stood by folks in Central Illinois. A little extra confidence during challenging economic times. Warren Boynton State Bank, WBSB.net, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Warren Boynton, your bank.
We've always felt that there's such a sense of family here at Springfield Supportive Living. Residents just being so encouraging to not only the staff, but to other residents and just supporting them. And, you know, when we were on lockdown for so long, we did become each other's family because the residents weren't seeing family of their own. It's such a great feeling that you can't even describe, to see how people can be so kind and come together, especially in this day and age.
Springfield Supportive Living. Are you young enough?
3120 Montvale Drive, Springfield. Where do you go when you want to get in shape?
The Body Quest Store, the Body Quest Store.
High quality exercise equipment for your home.
The Body Quest Store, the Body Quest Store.
The quest for the healthier you begins at
The Body Quest Store, the Body Quest Store.
3120 Montvale Drive.
The Body Quest Store, the Body Quest Store.
787-9930.
The Body Quest Store, the Body Quest Store.
The quest for the healthier you begins at the Body Quest Store. 3120 Montvale Drive, Springfield.
To protect his family from disaster, Steve used his camera phone. Done. By taking pictures of his important documents, Steve can always have them stored online. Learn more simple disaster prep tips at ready.gov. A message from FEMA and the Ad Council.
Get over to WMAY.com and take today's daily poll, where the question is: an Illinois business leader suggested that turning the state's interstates into toll roads as an alternative to gas taxes for paying for maintenance. Do you support that idea, yes or no? 88% of you say no. Go vote at WMAY.com/poll or on the WMAY mobile app. It is, again, WMAY.com/poll.
Springfield's Morning News with Greg Bishop. Listen on demand at WMAY.com. 92.7 WMAY. Springfield's News and Talk.
We've been reviewing some of the ruling that came out yesterday from the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals in Illinois over the Effingham challenge of the state's gun ban. And it was a split court decision. There's 3 justices that were part of this panel, and the 2 prevailing justices essentially said there were 4 counts. Of those 4 counts, one was the single subject rule. They tossed that. Another was the alleged violation of the 3 readings rule. They tossed that. One other violation that was alleged was the lack of due process to be able to add input to the bill. The justices tossed that. The count that they let stand, Attorney Thomas DeVore has said, is the most significant count against this bill, against this law that bans firearms, is equal protections. And the equal protections argument circles around the fact that those who are not required to comply with the gun ban and the gun registry are current and retired law enforcement, security guards, wardens, jailers, hired security contractors. So anybody who is in the law enforcement or security industry was exempt from this law. So they could still go out and purchase semi-automatic rifles and magazines over a certain capacity, but they also didn't have to register those. They could if they wanted to, but they didn't have to. So some of the arguments we'll hear from Attorney Thomas DeVore coming up about why that's so crucial in this argument about the ban on certain types of weapons, and what was some of the arguments that the state provided as to why they carved out those industries to be exempt from having to comply with the weapons ban and the registry. So we'll get to more of that coming up, but I did want to touch on just one issue that was brought up by the dissenting justice. So again, 3-judge panel, 2 justices in the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals for Illinois sided with DeVore on one of 4 counts, which DeVore says is the most significant one, the equal protections violation. But the 3rd justice, the dissenting justice, laid out his rationale for why he's a dissenting justice in this. And, it's, of course, a lot of legalese that they spell out. But what's interesting is the aspect of just how the argument of equal protections it's not necessarily comport with the Illinois Constitution. So, after breaking down some of the arguments, the dissenting justice said that leaves only the protection offered by the Illinois Constitution, which he says does not afford the plaintiffs a fundamental right and does not entitle them to strict scrutiny analysis of their count 4 equal protection claim. So interesting to see that, and just exactly what happens next with this, we'll be watching closely, but the Illinois Attorney General has already said that they are going to request an expedited review of the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals' decision to uphold a temporary restraining order for the 866 plaintiffs in this case, and they're going to have the Illinois Supreme Court try to get that expedited schedule to review. Outside of that, it goes back to Effingham County. So the temporary restraining order is temporary, right? It's just saying, hey, hold this. We're not doing this law until we hash out all these arguments. So now it goes back to the circuit court where they likely are going to have a trial about this, unless the Illinois Supreme Court comes in and intervenes in some way. We'll be watching that. But you've also got the outstanding pending rulings on TROs out of White County and how this upholding of the TRO in Effingham County by the Fifth Circuit, how that could actually be extrapolated out to other counties, say in Macon County, that we're going to have a hearing Friday, or in White County, or say there's another lawsuit that's brought up using very similar arguments down in Effingham, using those arguments in different counties, Coles County or Sangamon County or even Cook County. We'll see what happens with all of these potential ramifications from the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals decision yesterday. But much more coming up, including your phone calls at 217-629-7970. But up next, I am going to share with you some of the conversation I had with Tom DeVore, so be sure to come back for that. It is Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY, now 6:31. Let's take a break and get you the latest headlines here.
92.7 WMAY.
Here are the 3 big things you need to know.
I'm Don Howard. Our top story, Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell is expected to announce today that the Fed's primary focus remains the need to fight surging prices with still higher interest rates. Markets anticipate that the Fed will stop raising rates soon and possibly even cut them later this year, and analysts say Powell will need to push back against such optimism. The Fed's policy committee is set to raise their benchmark rate by a quarter point to its highest level in about 15 years. The Springfield Lucky Horseshoes baseball team announced Monday that it has commissioned a 450-square-foot video board for Robin Roberts Stadium. The team says the video board will enhance the fan experience by offering real-time stats headshots of players, live fan cam footage, and digital advertising for the team's partners. Ace Sign Company is creating the sign, which will stand more than 14 feet high and 32 feet across. The sign will be installed in May, just before the start of the 2023 season. Nearly 3 years after his initial proclamation, Governor J.B. Pritzker has announced that his recurring declaration of a public health emergency will expire on May 11th. Pritzker initially declared a public health emergency in March of 2020, just days before implementing a stay-at-home order at the start of the pandemic. The decision to end the emergency declaration follows similar action by the federal government, but Pritzker says COVID is not over and still poses a danger. More than 400 Illinoisans died of COVID in January. Secretary of State Alexi Janulius announced that Springfield's driver services facility on South Dirksen Parkway will be closed for 2 to 3 years for major renovations beginning tomorrow. In the meantime, all the services offered at the Dirksen facility, including driver's licenses, ID cards, license plate stickers, and title and registration, will be offered at a temporary facility at 1650 Wabash Avenue beginning next Monday. The facility at Klein and Mason also offers driver's services. A divided Illinois appeals court upheld a temporary restraining order by an Effingham County judge against the state's recently enacted assault weapons ban. The appeals court reversed the rulings on 3 counts in the suit, but affirmed the finding that the ban violated the Equal Protection Clause because it created numerous exemptions to the ban. The decision will be appealed to the Illinois Supreme Court, and several other lawsuits against the ban continue to move through state and federal courts. A Springfield man was found guilty of federal charges stemming from the January 6th insurrection at the U.S. Capitol. Thomas Adams Jr. was convicted of entering a restricted building and obstructing an official proceeding. Authorities identified Adams based on comments he made shortly after the unrest to the online publication Insider. Adams, who was seen holding a Trump flag on the floor of the U.S. Senate, told the interviewer that the Capitol riot was a really fun time. Adams will remain free until his sentencing in June. Your dependable 5-day forecast is next on WMAY.
Hey, John, when you think of the word supply chain, what's your next impulse?
No, turn off the news, run for cover, start whimpering.
Yeah, well, a customer of Dick Van Dyke Appliance World wrote in that they visited the store wanting to buy a microwave.
Something that used to be so simple.
Oh, right. You know what they walked out with?
Let me guess. A microwave.
Exactly. Dick Van Dyke had what they needed in stock, and the customer also remarked as to how helpful the salespeople were, too. Supply chain problems are still a thing, but this customer got the help they needed, and they wrote in to thank us.
You know, a little less whimpering in today's world can't be a bad thing.
This is Dennis Reekin, chairman of Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. Supply chain issues are minimized when you have multiple locations and people who know how to help you with your next purchase. All we do is appliances, and we do them better than anyone else. Wow!
Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store.
Register today for the Lincoln Presidential Half Marathon. Run where Lincoln walked. Take to the streets on Saturday, April 1st. Your run begins and ends downtown with an amazing post-race party on Adams Street between 4th and 5th, featuring Buzz Bomb Brewery, Cafe Moxo, and Kidsium. Want to help keep the course safe or keep our runners hydrated? Volunteer opportunities are available as well. The Lincoln Presidential Half Marathon, Saturday, April 1st. Register today at lincolnhalf.com.
The shortest distance between you and a Head West sub is now through the new in-store kiosks.
I don't want the same old thing. I got a craving for a Head West brownie today. Yeah!
Owning a business not only means trying to turn a profit, it also means providing safety. In an emergency, Barcom Security provides you with one-button lockdown to keep intruders out and everyone inside safe. For 47 years, businesses like Henson Robinson, State Farm agent Derek Hensley, major trauma hospitals, military bases, and many more all trust Barcom Security. Contact the Springfield office of Barcom Security for a free estimate and have a secure day.
Springfield's dependable 5-day forecast on WMAY. Looks like sunny skies at least through the weekend. Today, high near 33, low around 22. Tomorrow, sunny with a high near 41, low tomorrow night around 13. Friday, sunny with a high near 23, low around 16. Saturday, mostly sunny and breezy with a high near 41. Sunday, mostly sunny with a high near 51. And Monday, partly sunny with a high near 53. I'm Don Howard, 92.7 WMAY.
Weather sponsored by Lauterbach Tire and Auto, home of Stage 2 service. Drive safely now.
Anxiety. There's plenty of it to go around for just about everyone these days, but the question is, how are you dealing with it? Anxiety can make things difficult. If you find yourself reaching for drugs or alcohol as the solution, chances are your anxiety has gotten out of control. It's time to pick up the phone and call Gateway Foundation. You'll talk with someone who holds the strictest confidentiality so that you can open up and learn about treatment options. Our team of professional counselors, therapists, psychiatrists, and physicians have a long history of helping people like you get back on track. During the healing process, you'll find that there is nothing to be ashamed of. Calling Gateway Foundation is that important first step towards getting away from the self-medication of alcohol and other substances and on the road towards safe, rewarding, and sustainable recovery. Call Gateway Foundation at 877-505-HOPE for a free, private, confidential screening. Gateway Foundation, addiction medicine saving lives.
Hi, I'm Misty Busher, and I'm running for Springfield Mayor. My goal is to bring new leadership for a better Springfield, and that means rolling up my sleeves and hitting the ground running to make sure things get accomplished. I will work hard to bring much-needed change for economic development, job growth, infrastructure, homelessness, and beautification of our city. These are just a few of the issues I'm focused on. I'm here to fight for Springfield and to bring changes to benefit every resident. I ask for your vote as mayor of Springfield. Please vote Misty Busher.
Paid for by Friends of Misty Busher.
Start the new year off with a bang at Hendrick's Home Furnishings going on now. Take up to 30% off tag sale prices on all in-stock Lazy Boy furniture. That's right, up to 30% off of Hendrick's already discounted sale prices, not from MSRP or list prices like the other stores. In stock and ready for delivery only at Central Illinois' go-to store for Lazy Boy deals. Family-owned Hendrick's Home Furnishings, delivering fine furniture since 1949 on Route 4 in Verdon.
I'm Peter Greenberg, and this is today's Eye on Travel Minute. According to the latest research from the World Travel and Tourism Council and the folks at Visa, Paris is now the world's most powerful city destination, which means it's the city where travelers spend the most money. So how much do we spend in Paris? Last year, it was $36 billion. But Paris may not hold the title indefinitely. Over the next 10 years, the WTTC predicts Paris will drop down to third place, and the big winner, Beijing, at a whopping $77 billion. In the U.S., the most powerful destination city? That's Orlando. At $31 billion last year, the cities losing their power position in terms of visitor spending? Dubai, Doha, and Amsterdam. For more information, visit petergreenberg.com. I'm Peter Greenberg, and this is today's Eye on Travel Minute.
Bedtime is rough, and we'll go to extremes to fall asleep. Tempur-Pedic adapts to your body's needs to help you fall asleep faster and stay asleep longer. So ditch the eye masks. Head to Ashley to find your perfect Tempur-Pedic.
92.7 WMAY.
Springfield's news and talk.
So next up for Illinois' gun ban could be the Illinois Supreme Court in a case that was brought by attorney Thomas DeVore in Effingham County that he got a temporary restraining order on. The state appealed that in the Fifth Circuit, and the Fifth Circuit Appellate Court upholding the temporary restraining order that attorney Thomas DeVore secured, and now the Illinois Attorney General looking for an expedited review of that in the Illinois Supreme Court. Last segments, we went through some detail about the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals split decision where they decided to uphold one of four charges that DeVore brought against the measure that's now enacted across the states. But DeVore's actions only impact the 866 plaintiffs in the Effingham County case. He has a similar case in White County with 1,700 plaintiffs, and we could see a temporary restraining order issued in that case as early as today. It's hard telling when that's going to happen. But now that the Fifth Circuit has shown where they stand on this, you could see a domino type of effect of sorts of similar cases being filed or cases that are already filed going a similar direction. until we get to some kind of ultimate conclusion. But I talked with Attorney Thomas DeVore yesterday, and we'll share that with you. But I, of course, want you to chime in anytime at 217-629-7970. That's the phone number here with Springfield's Morning News. But when I connected with Attorney DeVore, it was really just to get his initial reactions and to address some of the other questions that are being brought up about, for instance, whether or not this is applied to the entire state. Because we're seeing some mixed reporting there. Yes, in a way, it does apply to the entire state, but from what I understand, is it's only if there is some kind of lawsuit that's brought in another county. So, for instance, we'll hear from Tom DeVore about this. He says that if, for like Sangamon County here in Springfield, if a case was brought, then it would have to comport with the ruling from the Fifth Circuit until obviously it goes all the way up to where it needs to go to like the Illinois Supreme Court, because this is a state level case. So these are all the state level issues. A lot of people are saying, pay attention to that, but also look at federal cases. And we've got some federal cases that are in the hopper with, especially in Naperville, possible temporary restraining order that's pending up there. And that would be for just Naperville. You also have, other cases that have been filed in federal courts where they're starting to try to get some hearings and judges set up and all of that. But Attorney Thomas DeVore, when I chatted with him yesterday, it was practically an hour or so after the Fifth Appellate Court District issued their ruling upholding the temporary restraining order. And here's some of what DeVore had to say when we chatted yesterday.
All right. Well, our particular count, we only had 4. I think there's 5 maybe in Mr. Stock's case. He filed in Effingham County or in Macon County. He had an additional claim. Ours raises 4. And, the appellate court said that as far as likelihood of success with the record that they had in front of it, they found equal protection violation. There was a likelihood of success. It doesn't mean that the other arguments that we've made won't be successful. They just said with the record they had in front of them, they couldn't say that that's been established. And I'm okay with that because we've got some discovery and other things that we've got to go through to really lay out those procedural issues. And the appellate court's ruling, they take them to task on all of those procedural issues, so they understand them. So, but as of right now, at this very preliminary stage, the appellate court said equal protection is the problem. And when you and I have talked about this in the past, Greg, I always said in the short term, absent the record being fully vetted and generated, equal protection was by far the most pertinent argument in the short run. So the appellate court agreed with us and said that the TRO stands because there's been an equal protection violation. As far as how it affects the other cases, this is now a published case. It's the only case in Illinois on this issue. And so the other cases that have been filed, this is precedent for them. And so they'll be likely issuing, not just in case I might have filed, but in other cases filed by Mr. Stocks and others that have asked for restraining orders. Then those courts, I fully expect, will issue those restraining orders. And then we'll see if the appellate court or the Supreme Court is interested in hearing this issue on what's called an interlocutory basis. I don't know if the Supreme Court is interested right now. They may want to wait until the record has been fully complete and developed before they go down that path. And so we'll see. But I think the federal courts, the cases in the federal courts are going to pay particular attention to this equal protection ruling too, because it's going to become very relevant in the federal case.
So just to pause here for a moment, a lot of people pointing to the Second Amendment, a well-regulated militia being necessary for the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. But that argument, of course, in federal courts could be very fundamental to what happens with the state's gun ban, let alone other gun bans that are being challenged, like over in Maryland, where that case is much further along than Illinois' cases in federal court. But the state court level, DeVore brought this issue of equal protections forward, saying it's very crucial. And just to reiterate, the 4 charges that he initially brought, one was the 3 readings rule, appellate court threw that out, the due process court threw that out, the issue of single subject, the court threw that out. It was the issue of equal protections that the court upheld in their TRO upholding yesterday in the appellate court. Why is that so important? I asked Tom DeVore to explain that for the layperson.
The equal protection argument is that this law carves out 7 categories of people based on their profession that they're not bound by this law. They can buy all the AR-15s they want. They can buy all the 50 calibers they want. They can buy all of the 30-round magazines they want, purely based upon where they work. Current retired police, prison guards, county jailers, security people, and the government tried to argue that that was based upon their extensive training. That was the reason that they were able to be carved out. And there's a lot of problems with that, Greg. One is that does being trained further the purpose of this law? That's a fair question. And second and most importantly is, then if training is the issue, truly the issue, then every citizen in the state of Illinois should have the same opportunity to take some comparable training as to these categories of professions and retain their rights. And so, we argued both of those in this case, that one, this is not about training. It has nothing to do with training. It doesn't make any sense. And to the extent it is about training, we have a right to then seek that training as well as citizens and not lose our right to purchase and possess and not register these weapons. We just go take the training that they think is reasonable. And again, the appellate court agreed with us, at least in the interim, on that issue.
So Attorney Thomas DeVore chatted with him literally an hour after the ruling from the Fifth Circuit dropped, upholding the temporary restraining order for 866 plaintiffs. And that could be extrapolated in other court challenges, including in White County and even in Macon County with an emergency hearing that's set for Friday, or other state-level cases. So we'll be back with more. I want to share more with what Tom DeVore had to say, but also lawmakers from both sides of the aisle I was able to connect with yesterday briefly at the Illinois State House, so we'll share that with you as well. It's right here with Springfield WMAY. I got to take a break, though, for a look at that forecast, where it's going to be pretty mild with a high today of 33, the low down to around 22 for your Thursday, the high up to 41. Then it's going to dip back down with a high of only 23 Friday, but by Saturday and Sunday, you're looking at highs approaching 50 degrees. By Monday, 53 the high with mostly cloudy skies. Right now, it's about 8 degrees at 649 from Culver's West on Wabash.
It's time to apply at Culver's West on Wabash. We're hiring all positions, and did we mention free food? Only at Culver's West on Wabash.
Rex with a double X battery. Generations of power.
Here's what we believe at Rex Battery. You should be able to find the right battery when you need it. Our company started when my dad needed a battery for his car, and he built it himself. Today, more than 50 years later, we are still making sure you can find the right battery you need. And that includes the common batteries people use every day to the hard-to-find batteries used in big farm equipment. While online outlets are struggling with supply chain issues, we have shelves full of batteries. The best part is we're right here in town and ready to help today. Hearing aids, power tools, and the car in your garage. If it takes a battery, you can find the battery at Rex Battery, Clear Lake, just west of Dirksen.
Rex with a double X battery. Generations of power.
The Verlo Mismatch Sale is back. It's our biggest sale of the year. Mismatch on the outside, the same Verlo long-lasting craftsmanship on the inside. So hurry in now and save an additional 10% off every mattress and box spring. Wake up. Sleep better. Verlo.
Why waste another night on a mattress that's not comfortable or supportive? This is Caleb Kitzman with Verlo Mattress. Our mattresses aren't dropped off by the truckload like most mattress stores. At Verlo, we handcraft every mattress in our local factory. That means we custom fit a mattress for you, not the other way around. Stop in this month and pair any of our mattresses with an adjustable base and get up to $200 off. Verlo Mattress. We're not just building a better mattress, we're building a better night's sleep for less.
The Verlo Mismatch Sale is back. It's our biggest sale of the year. Mismatch on the outside, the same Verlo long-lasting craftsmanship on the inside. So hurry in now and save an additional 10% off every mattress and box spring. Wake up. Sleep better. Verlo.
Lucky, lucky, lucky. At Impact Life, we are lucky to have donors like you. To show how appreciative we are of you, right now, when you donate blood, we'll give you a voucher for a Kelly Green Changing the World Together t-shirt. Just in time for St. Patty's Day. How festive. Or choose a voucher for a $10 gift card to one of our participating businesses. Even if you try to give blood and find out you can't, we're still giving you a voucher for a gift card or a lucky Kelly Green t-shirt. Don't delay. Make your appointment today. Giving blood is not a big deal, and you're done before you know it. Visit the Impact Life Donor Center today at Wabash and Chatham Road near Goodwill in Springfield, or on South Main Street in Decatur. Please give what's in your heart, because we are changing the world together. Visit bloodcenter.org.
What's the best thing to do with your money during uncertain times? Financial experts agree products like certificates of deposit and money market accounts can be a safe haven from a bumpy economy. At Warren Boynton State Bank, we've been helping people find ways for their money to make money for 145 years. Certificates of deposit, or CDs, give you a guaranteed return on your money. Money market accounts are a way to let your money earn higher interest with the flexibility of a checking account. These are just two options we have at Warren Boynton, each designed to give your money security, and they just might help you sleep better at night. At Warren Boynton, you can say we've seen a few things over the years. A lot has happened since we opened our doors in 1877, but no matter what was going on in the rest of the world, we've stood by folks in Central Illinois. A little extra confidence during challenging economic times. Warren Boynton State Bank, WBSB.net, member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
Warren Boynton, your bank. Springfield Supportive Living. Are you young enough?
I do love music and dancing in particular. I have a very good friend, Beverly. She's my dance partner, even though she can only just kind of move back and forth. But she enjoys it quite a lot, and she looks forward to it.
Oh, Bill's my dancing buddy. We have a good time.
Springfield Supportive Living. Are you young enough?
I studied Spanish in college and never got fluent. But then I tried Babbel.
Want the most effective way to learn another language? In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel's bite-sized lessons will have you learning another language in as little as 3 weeks.
Babbel gets you speaking quickly about things you actually talk about in the real world.
University studies have shown that using Babbel for 15 hours is equivalent to a semester of college Spanish. If you want to learn a new language, there's no better way than Babbel. Go to Babbel.com to try Babbel for free. That's BABBEL.com.
Take Springfield's morning news with Greg Bishop everywhere with a free WMAY mobile app. 92.7 WMAY. Springfield's news and talk.
All right, final few moments here of conversation I had with Tom DeVore, the attorney that brought the case in Effingham County that got a TRO and ultimately led to the 5th Appellate Circuit Court appellate courts to uphold that TRO about the issue of equal protections. And I asked him about this is a temporary restraining order that's been upheld. What about permanent injunctive relief to block this thing statewide? Here's some of what he had to say yesterday.
The only time it's ever going to get to an injunctive relief outside of our plaintiffs would be if the Supreme Court made that decision like they did in the Safety Act case, which is possible, but I have no idea to speculate. If there's some federal case that issues a statewide ban, it could be, that's yet to be seen. The case that we brought for a variety of reasons didn't seek a statewide injunction because that's the complexity in a state court that, nobody's went down that path, and I understand why. So I can't speak to that. But a federal court could do it in one of these federal cases. I've been talking to the guys that have a couple of these federal cases in very great detail, and I'm trying to get them to do some of these things. But we're going to come back to the state court case. The injunction will remain in place, and then we're going to do a little bit of discovery, and we're going to get to the bottom of these procedural problems that we've raised. We're going to start asking a lot of questions for a lot of information and do some depositions of these legislators, and we're going to ferret out these procedural issues because I think they're very important, Greg. They have to be addressed. And at the same time, again, you have the equal protection argument that I don't know how the government's going to get around in the long term, whether it's the state court or the federal court. The equal protection argument is significant, as well as, again, ultimately in the federal cases when they get to that point, Second Amendment. So
now we've seen it reported elsewhere that this is good for the entire state. I asked DeVore about that, how it's being reported. Here's what he had to say.
Is that when this court entered this ruling, that there is right now a likelihood that this law violates equal protection, that opinion would be binding on every circuit court in the state that might choose to consider this issue. So if somebody files a case in Sangamon County with the circuit court saying that injunction should issue because you're violating my equal protection rights, that circuit court case or court is bound by that opinion. That's what that means, if that makes sense.
So, again, just hearing from the attorney that brought this, his understanding of how this could be applied statewide, though it isn't immediately applied statewide. I talked with state lawmakers from both sides of the aisle yesterday, including a Democrat state representative, Maura Hirschauer. She fought to pass this bill, and I got her reaction to the appellate court upholding this restraining order.
We've been expecting kind of any twist and turn that can come, so I feel really confident that we have passed the best bill we possibly can and that our attorneys are ready to fight it and still feeling positive. You know, I think I stand with my constituents who are tired of waking up every morning to hear about another mass shooting, whether it be in our state or in states across the country. We took a stand here in Illinois that our constituents wanted us to, and I'm proud of the work we did.
So again, that was Maura Hirschauer, a Democrat who fought for the passage of the Protect Illinois Communities Act. But I also talked with Dan Calkins, who has his own case that he's brought in Macon County. And he's confident that things are going to turn out pretty good in his case. Here's Dan Calkins, a Republican from Decatur, when I connected with him briefly on the third floor of the Illinois Capitol, where I find myself at work outside of the radio show. So here's Dan Calkins.
I think it's great news. Congratulate Tom DeVore for getting this in and being able to defend his case in the appellate court. Now we'll see what happens in Effingham in the courthouse. Is it going to go to trial? And if it goes to trial, how that works out. But I think it's good news. It's a good sign. Hopefully it'll have a big impact on how we do business here. I don't think I can figure out what a judge is going to do. Every case is different. Our case is a little different than Tom's, but it follows the same track. We'll see 1:30 on Friday what the judge is in for. Generally, I've been told judges don't like to go against another judge in the same circuit. So we're very hopeful that we'll get a positive response from the judge.
So we'll see what happens there in Macon County with the case brought by Dan Calkins, but these are just state-level cases. We have yet to really see much substantive movement other than oral arguments in federal cases, one being in Naperville where there's a possible TRO ruling that we can expect soon. But you have 4 other cases in federal courts that could be advancing. We'll be watching all of this and bringing you the latest here. I'm Greg Bishop. Follow me anywhere, Bishop on Air, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Bishop on Air.
SPI Studios. Take the easy way out. WMAY FM. Taylorville. Springfield's news and talk is 92.7 WMAY.
Here's the latest from ABC News. I'm Inez de la Quatera. Tyree Nichols' funeral is today in Memphis. The eulogy will be delivered by the Reverend Al Sharpton.
We are going to continue to fight this fight around police brutality and killing until we get federal laws changed.
Sharpton last night at a Memphis church. Vice President Kamala Harris will also speak, and family attorney Benjamin Crump will deliver a call for justice. 5 police officers have been fired and charged with murder, and their specialized unit disbanded. Other officers, EMTS, and fire officials also fired or relieved of duty. A manhunt in Oregon is no more after an attack linked to a dating website. Benjamin Foster is in custody in critical condition at a hospital, possibly from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Investigators say he attacked a woman and left her in critical condition after meeting her online. In Washington, D.C., the Federal Reserve expected to announce another interest rate hike. 0.25% increase is anticipated in another effort to curb historic inflation. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy is heading to the White House today for a meeting with President Biden to talk about raising the nation's debt ceiling.
The president's message to Republicans is basically do this or this is on you. And I'm told the president is expected to pose 2 questions to McCarthy, really confronting him and challenging him on committing to avoiding catastrophic default and then also releasing sort of a detailed, specific, comprehensive budget. But the strategy here by the White House is get Republicans to cave on this issue. And the president does have a point. I mean, this is something that Democrats and Republicans have largely worked together to do over the last 80 years. But this time we are seeing this really bitter standoff.
ABC's Rachel Scott. Sources tell ABC News Republican Nikki Haley is ready to announce a presidential run. She was U.S. ambassador to the UN under former President Trump. This is ABC News.
Never completely ready to adopt a teen.
For late nights writing English papers.
For your teen's music taste.
For dinners, where they talk more on their phone than with you.
For the first time, they call you mom.
You're never completely ready to adopt a teen, and you can't imagine the reward.
To learn more about adopting a teen, visit adoptuskids.org.
Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Remember the last time your family visited the forest? It's a place of wonder and imagination for the whole family, where stories come to life. And it's closer than you think. Ready to plan your next visit? Make the forest part of your story today at a local park near you, or find one at discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
All right, coming up this hour, it's the Springfield City Council Roundup. Last night, a committee of the whole where they heard a bunch of different ordinances and decided if it's going to go on debate or consent. And this really is a great way for you to understand how local government works. Even if you don't live in Springfield, trust me, it's instructive. So stay tuned. We'll get to that next year on WMAY. It's now 7:04. I'm Greg Bishop with Springfield's Morning News.
News.
Weather.
92.7 WMAY. Springfield's news and talk.
I'm Don Howard. Our top story. A Springfield man was found guilty of federal charges stemming from the January 6th insurrection at the U.S. Capitol. Thomas Adams Jr. was convicted of entering a restricted building and obstructing an official proceeding. Authorities identified Adams based on comments he made shortly after the unrest to the online publication Insider. Adams, who was seen holding a Trump flag on the floor of the U.S. Senate, told the interviewer that the Capitol riot was a really fun time. Adams will remain free until his sentencing in June. Illinois has a new state superintendent of schools. The State Board of Education has chosen Dr. Tony Sanders to take on that job. Sanders has been the superintendent of Elgin School District U46, the second largest school district in the state. He had also previously worked for the State Board of Education and the St. Louis school system. He succeeds Dr. Carmen Ayala, who recently announced her retirement. A major Springfield employer is laying off dozens of workers. Wells Fargo has cut 140 positions from its home lending operations in Springfield. The State Journal-Register reports the jobs were eliminated from the company's correspondent business, which purchases mortgages originated by other lenders. Wells Fargo had reportedly been planning to eliminate that division for several years. Wells Fargo continues to maintain other jobs in its customer lending division at its local headquarters on West Wabash. Springfield's police chief condemned the actions of members of a Memphis Police Special Street Crimes Unit implicated in the beating death of Tyree Nichols while appearing live with WMAY's Greg Bishop. Like Memphis, Springfield has its own street crimes unit, which Chief Ken Scarlett says plays an important role in dealing with gang crimes and getting illegal guns off the street. Scarlett said there are multiple safeguards in place in Springfield to prevent such an occurrence here and to ensure that officers comply with department policy. Your dependable 5-day forecast is next on WMAY.
News sponsored by CBD Botanicals. Visit CBD Botanicals in Springfield and Edwardsville. Online at cbdbotanicals.com.
You could dig a hole in the ground and bury your cash, but that's no way to see your savings grow. Use an INBCD, and you'll earn a 3.14% annual percentage yield just for keeping your money with us for 13 months. The minimum deposit and balance for this certificate of deposit special is $10,000. For more details, visit INB.com. Apply at any INB branch or on our website. INB, member FDIC.
Hi, I'm Misty Busher, and I'm running for Springfield Mayor. My goal is to bring new leadership for a better Springfield, and that means rolling up my sleeves and hitting the ground running to make sure things get accomplished. I will work hard to bring much-needed change for economic development, job growth, infrastructure, homelessness, and beautification of our city. These are just a few of the issues I'm focused on. I'm here to fight for Springfield and to bring changes to benefit every resident. I ask for your vote as Mayor of Springfield. Please vote Misty Busher.
Paid for by Friends of Misty Busher.
John, the price of groceries is enough to send somebody into a panic mode these days.
Yeah, especially when the refrigerator goes kaput.
Even more so. We got a call from a customer who had that problem with a freezer load of those expensive groceries.
And that'll keep you awake at night just thinking about it.
Right. So, because Dick Van Dyke stocks the 100 most used parts, we were able to send a factory-trained tech out to her place to fix the problem before she lost any of that food.
And he wasn't some subcontractor either.
Trained right here locally by the team of Dick Van Dyke.
You know, one way to fight inflation?
Yep.
Keep from having to buy expensive stuff twice.
Yes, you got that right.
This is Dennis Regan, chairman of Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store, which means you have the comfort of knowing that if anything goes wrong, we'll make it right. Wow!
Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store.
Everywhere you are with TuneIn Radio, the WMAY app, or at WMAY.com. 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's news and talk.
Springfield's dependable 5-day forecast on WMAY. Looks like sunny skies at least through the weekend. Today, high near 33, low around 22. Tomorrow, sunny with a high near 41, low tomorrow night around 13. Friday, sunny with a high near 23, low around 16. Saturday, mostly sunny and breezy with a high near 41. Sunday, mostly sunny with a high near 51. And Monday, partly sunny with a high near 53. I'm Don Howard, 92.7 WMAY.
Weather sponsored by Lauterbach Tire and Auto, home of Stage 2 service. Drive safely now.
3120 Montvale Drive, Springfield.
Where do you go when you want to get in shape?
The Body Quest Store, the Body Quest Store.
High quality exercise equipment for your home.
The Body Quest Store, the Body Quest Store.
The quest for the healthier you begins at
The Body Quest Store, the Body Quest Store.
3120 Montvale Drive.
The Body Quest Store, the Body Quest Store.
787-9930.
The Body Quest Store, the Body Quest Store.
The quest for the healthier you begins at the Body Quest Store. 3120 Montvale Drive, Springfield.
Menards is your home improvement destination. We've got everything you need for your projects, from ceiling to floor. Why settle for a boring ceiling when there's so many acoustic and decorative options? Armstrong ceiling tiles are the best way to elevate your style to new heights. They're easy to install and add a great new look to your home. Right now, save big money on ceiling tiles. Plus, check out all the great deals going on now at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
Do-it-yourself ordering kiosks now inside Head West mean getting your sub faster.
I don't want the same old thing. I got a craving for a Head West brownie today. Yeah!
Less hassle, more travel. We've got connections, Springfield to Dallas to anywhere. The Abraham Lincoln Capital Airport remains open for you. Your hometown airport is committed to providing a safe, clean, and healthy travel experience. Security lines are short, parking is always free, and customer service is a top priority. Book your next American Airlines flight from SPI at aa.com. Fly local, fly SPI.
Take the easy way out.
92.7 WMAY.
Springfield's news and talk.
Now it's time for Greg Bishop and the Council Roundup.
Hey, the Council Roundup every Wednesday here with Springfield's Morning News. I've been doing this for like 12, 13 years, 14. I can't even remember when I started this. But really, it's just an overview of the Springfield City Council. They meet every Tuesday. If there are 5 Tuesdays in a month, they skip one of those Tuesdays, but they alternate between a committee of the whole, where they hear a whole bunch of ordinances on first reading, and then the following week they do a full city council meeting where they ultimately either pass a whole bunch of ordinances all together on a consent agenda, meaning they're not controversial, or they put them on a debate agenda and they debate them one by one, and then they pass them or they fail there. So we hear a lot of that. We hear a lot of citizens addressing the committee, a lot of ins and outs of how city government operates. And I don't live in Springfield. Some of you don't live in Springfield. I get it. But still, it's the capital city. Being a municipality, it's important that people understand how city governments can operate. So that's what we try to highlight here with the Council Roundup. Each and every Wednesday, it's brought to you by Head West Subs. When you want a great sub, you've got to head west. Their downtown location open for lunch. Head West Subs. When you want a great sub, you've got to head west. So last night was a committee of the whole, and Springfield Alderman Sean Gregory was the chairperson of the committee of the whole. And moving forward, taking up ordinances for consideration. There was a motion to remove some ordinances that remained in committee. Those two ordinances we'll hear now that are read by the city's clerk. And here are some of the ordinances that they moved out of remaining in committee to then actually be part of the discussion from last night's council meeting.
2022-574, an ordinance accepting the lowest responsible bid and authorizing execution of contract number PW 23-11-82 with Green Track LLC for demolition and site clearance of 66 units in Poplar Place in an amount not to exceed $1,345,370 for the Office of Public Works.
In Poplar Place, that's an area of town that's starting to fall apart, some residential areas. They're going to be using some public financing to help a private company come in and demolish that. So it's going to take a lot of work to do all of this and to rehab those buildings and the infrastructure there. And another ordinance that dealt with that as well from last night.
2022-575, an ordinance authorizing a supplemental appropriation in the amount of $1,345,370 for expected developer reimbursements to accommodate the demolition and site clearance of Poplar Place for the Office of Public Works.
So you can start to hear some of the costs of doing a project like this in the city of Springfield. You can imagine how it costs elsewhere as well. But moving on, we got other ordinances that were brought up for consideration by the City Council, including this one.
Liquid chlorine with Alexander Chemical Corporation for a one-year period in an amount not to exceed $436,170 for the Office of Public Utility.
Move for consent.
So that was put on consent. What about another one?
An ordinance authorizing the purchase of tandem duct trucks for a Lake Services Department from Rush Truck Centers of Illinois Incorporated from a state contract in the amount not to exceed $166,874.38 for the Office of Public Utility.
Consent.
So they're buying some trucks and even more trucks.
2023-005, an ordinance authorizing the purchase of a grapple truck and a bucket truck for the tree crews in the Lake Services Department from Rush Truck Centers of Illinois Incorporated from a state contract in an amount not to exceed $409,501.50 for the Office of Public Utility.
Consent.
So even more trucks being bought, and it's a lot of dollars, coming from funds to go pay for these new vehicles and these new trucks that are going to be used by Public Works and also by CWLP. CWLP getting involved here now with questions that are raised about another ordinance up for consideration at last night's Committee of the Whole meeting.
2023-006, an ordinance approving a Sixth Amendment to the Statement of Work Number 1 with CGI Technologies and Solutions Incorporated for ERP and Maximo upgrades for the Office of Public Utilities.
So it might sound a little convoluted there, but Doug Brown, the operator, the head guy over at City Water, Light and Power, which is Springfield's municipally owned electric and water station, they obviously are a huge part of Springfield. It's one of very few municipally operated public utilities, not just for water, but also for electricity and coal-fired powered electricity in Springfield. If you come to town, you'll see those smokestacks, obviously. But Doug Brown, he leads that operation. He talks about this ERP, which is essentially computer software, and it's pretty old. And he says it's in dire need of an update.
Well, the total project, we understand, is probably close to about $9 million. Okay. And what we have budgeted, I think, is $3.75 million in FY24. It's a 60-40. That's a 60-40 split between the city, between utility and the city. So the utility is 60, the city's 40%.
So that's about the split between what the city uses for this software and what the public utility uses for the software. Brown continues.
So it's pretty much not being supported, going forward. So they're going to have to upgrade. There's also, processes that need to be integrated.
So those processes that need to be integrated, pretty expansive actually, but it's old software that needs to be updated. What are some of the other areas the software utilizes?
Well, the ERP system, it's the enterprise planning resource software. So basically, that's how the city processes purchase orders, looking at vendors, all the vendor information. The kind of controls some of the workflow too on the financial side of things. It has modules in it that can basically handle a lot of the HR function, like a lot of HR things, payroll.
And it goes on from there. So obviously there's a lot of moving pieces for this old software. I think he said that it was last updated back in the early 2000s. I mean, that was 20 some odd years ago. So you could see it's probably time to get some updated software, but it comes with a cost as well. And there's obviously some time constraints here as well.
Basically because it's taking longer to go through this RFP process for an ERP system. So they have to extend this with CGI is the company that provides the support for us.
So getting some more detail there about the need for amending the contract temporarily to allow for a little bit more time while they put out the bid for other contracts to come in and then deal with this issue of software that helps run a lot of the city's operations. Much more coming up here with the Council Roundup, of course, brought to you by Head West Subs. When you want a great sub, you've got to head west. Their downtown location open for lunch, also open for lunch on Saturdays, Head West Subs. All right, let's take a break, and we'll be back with more coming up here with the Council Roundup on WMAY. But let's take a look at Springfield's dependable 5-day forecast, where today you've got a high of 33, the low of 22, mostly sunny. Sunny skies Thursday with a high up to 41. But then temperature's going to drop down into the teens Thursday night into Friday. We'll see sunny skies, the high of only 23, but then warming up to a high of 41 by Saturday and even more warm Sunday with a high of 51. By Monday, 53 the high with mostly cloudy skies. Right now, 8 degrees at 718 from Culver's West on Wabash.
It's time to apply at Culver's West on Wabash. We're hiring all positions, and did we mention free food? Only at Culver's West on Wabash.
Hi there, it's Christina over at CBD Botanicals, and guess what? It's that time of year again, Valentine's Day. And if you haven't been into our store, come on in. We actually have an intimacy line that's perfect for this time of year. Whether you're looking for something for a brand new Valentine or trying to spice things up from somebody you've been with for a really long time, that is all right. Come on in. We actually have a brand new product by Euphoria called the Quickie Kit. You have different types of CBD oils, and you can also come in and pick up some chocolates, some adult candy, and add that to your special Valentine's Day gift. So stop on in and check us out at 2538 South Cokie Mill Road in Springfield, behind the Walgreens building off of Cokie Mill and Isles. So come on in, CBD Botanicals, and let's talk intimacy.
While the next few days might be mild, it's going to get downright cold. It's winter after all, and you don't want to go out shopping outdoors for a new vehicle. That's why Green Hyundai has moved to an indoor location. With all the details, Mike Quimby standing by with. Mike, what's going on?
Absolutely, Greg. Hey, it's a beautiful, beautiful facility here, and we are at the old Shop and Save on the corner of Wabash and Chatham Road. It's really, really perfect for this. The lighting is the best I've ever seen in one of these older indoor buildings, and just an absolute opportunity for folks to be able to take advantage of this indoor sale we got going on. So used car manager has come in and written down all the inventory one more time as we move into February. This is the first day of February, and we will be kicking it in with 0% still available for you on these cars with approved credit. So get up, get out, come out and see us during the week till 7 and Saturday till 6. Ginormous auto indoor clearance event going on at the old Shop and Save on the corner of Chatham Road in Wabash. Come on out and see us and get prepared for spring weather soon.
Mike Quimby, Green Hyundai. Have yourself a great day.
Appreciate it, Greg. Thank you.
As you sit slightly sideways staring at a ditch, it's about now you're thinking, I sure wish I'd have visited Lauterbach and done something about these tires. Worry not, we've all been there. And Lauterbach is here. It's the Lauterbach man, and I'm overlooking stacks of fresh tires ready for your car. Putting two and two together, it's pretty clear that a place called Lauterbach Tire is quite exceptional when it comes to those rubber miracles. See, good tread and properly balanced tires can mean the difference between you choosing when to stop and that slushy ditch choosing for you. And it's not exaggerating to say better tires can mean a safer Springfield. I'm serious about safety, and I know you are too. So let's meet over lunch or whenever is convenient for you and find you a nice set of safe tires. You'll be happy, and that car in front of you right now will be happy too. See my talented techs at Lauterbach Tire on Wabash today, and drive safely now.
Lucky, lucky, lucky. At Impact Life, we are lucky to have donors like you. To show how appreciative we are of you, right now when you donate blood, we'll give you a voucher for a Kelly Green Changing the World Together t-shirt. Just in time for St. Patty's Day. How festive. Or choose a voucher for a $10 gift card to one of our participating businesses. Even if you try to give blood and find out you can't, we're still giving you a voucher for a gift card or a lucky Kelly Green t-shirt. Don't delay. Make your appointment today. Giving blood is not a big deal, and you're done before you know it. Visit the Impact Life Donor Center today at Wabash and Chatham Road near Goodwill in Springfield, or on South Main Street in Decatur. Please give what's in your heart because we are changing the world together. Visit bloodcenter.org.
What's the best thing to do with your money during uncertain times? Financial experts agree products like certificates of deposit and money market accounts can be a safe haven from a bumpy economy. At Warren Boynton State Bank, we've been helping people find ways for their money to make money for 145 years. Certificates of deposit, or CDs, give you a guaranteed return on your money. Money market accounts are a way to let your money earn higher interest with the flexibility of a checking account. These are just two options we have at Warren Boynton, each designed to give your money security, and they just might help you sleep better at night. At Warren Boynton, you can say we've seen a few things over the years. A lot has happened since we opened our doors in 1877, but no matter what was going on in the rest of the world, we've stood by folks in Central Illinois. A little extra confidence during challenging economic times. Warren Boynton State Bank, WBSB.net, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Warren Boynton, your bank.
To protect his family from disaster, Steve used his camera phone. Done. By taking pictures of his important documents, Steve can always have them stored online. Learn more simple disaster prep tips at ready.gov. A message from FEMA and the Ad Council.
Get to WMAY.com/poll and take the daily poll with the Illinois business leader suggesting that turning the state's interstates into toll roads is an alternative for gas taxes to pay for road maintenance. Do you support the idea? Most of you, and nearly 89% of you, say no, it's not a good idea. Go vote at WMAY.com/poll or on the WMAY mobile app. It's the daily poll on WMAY.
Springfield's Morning News with Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY.
We're back with the Council Roundup, brought to you by Head West Subs. When you want a great sub, you've got to Head West. Their downtown location open for lunch. Don't forget about delivery. Head West Subs. Reviewing last night's Springfield City Council meeting and up on the measures for consideration, yet another ordinance that they're determining whether to put it on consent or on the debate agenda. Here is some of that ordinance detail.
An ordinance amending Chapter 96 of the 1980 City of Springfield Code of Ordinances as amended regarding Chapter 96, Article 6, Safety Regulations by adding Section 96.075 regarding motorized surfboards for the Office of Public Utilities.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to hold this ordinance.
Second. It's been moved and seconded to hold in committee.
Yes.
Any discussion on this matter?
Mr. Chair, I think that's a good idea to hold this in committee. I think someone signed up to talk about that. Is that individual here tonight or no?
I don't believe they're here tonight.
Okay. Thank you.
There'll be plenty of time for it.
It's been moved and seconded to hold this matter in committee.
So they're going to hold that in committee. What are they talking about? Electronic surfboards, e-surfboards. I've ridden one. It's like a wakeboard, but it's got a fin that goes about 3.5 feet down, and you got a controller, and you lay on it, you rev it up, and then all of a sudden you jump up like you're on a surfboard, and then you're essentially coasting. It's pretty awesome. But the proprietor of Surf Springfield was trying to get this off the ground, no pun intended, and he even got a loan from the city to start a business. And then all of a sudden he sees that there's some opposition to the idea, and this ordinance comes up. That individual we've talked with, you can see the interview on our Facebook or YouTube channel, and it's about essentially questioning the safety of these things. Well, he was set to talk about it, but he heard that they were going to remove the ordinance or at least postpone it. They can essentially take this out of committee anytime now and pop it up and have it brought up. So it's going to be one of those things that whoever wants this to not advance, they're going to have to watch closely as to when this comes up, and it could be brought up at the next meeting or the next meeting after that or the next meeting after that in the future until who knows when they bring it up. So we'll be watching that closely, and I'm sure that the proprietor of Surf Springfield is going to be watching that closely as well. But next up, let's hear some more from ordinances up for consideration. In particular, here is one measure that was brought forward.
Adopting updated international codes and fire safety codes for the Office of Public Works.
Mr. Chair, the Public Works Director has asked that we hold this in committee.
So this deals with new construction and some issues that might have to be impacted by new construction, building permits, and whatnot. Alderman McMiniman raises questions about this.
In times past, we've had proposed updates to these things. For example, I can remember one where we were going to require, or someone was here to require that we have fire suppression water systems in all residential new construction. And this council was against that. And I just wanted to let us know if there's any major change in our requirements for our builders, both residential and commercial, with this update of the fire code.
Okay, we'll provide, and then we are making some minor tweaks, working with the Springfield Home Builders Association as well as the Illinois Association of Realtors to clear up some items as well right now.
Very good, thank you.
Thank you.
So Alderman hearing about possible changes to building codes, but they're starting to get everything in line, and those impacted by that, lining things up to have them sound off and to maybe modify some of this. So we'll watch where that goes, but they're holding that measure in committee. Also up, you got an appointment that was offered.
An ordinance approving the appointment of Terry Wilson to the Springfield Community Relations Commission.
And Terry Wilson, she says that she's ready to serve the public and do good for the people. So we'll, of course, see where that goes. Obviously, an appointment, they typically just pass these with a whole bunch of other appointments, but that was the only one up for last night. Next up, let's hear what's in front of Alder people.
Of an agreement with Central Illinois Communications doing business as Illinois Times for the design, printing, content creation, and distribution of the 2023 Visitors Guide in an amount not to exceed $90,289 for the Springfield Convention and Visitors Bureau.
Move to consent.
So essentially they're looking to pay the Illinois Times, a local alternative press publication. A lot of people pick it up free every Thursday, the Illinois Times, and they publish all kinds of stuff. So they're going to be publishing the city's tourism guide, their annual tourism guide. Alderwoman Conley had a question about what's next for the contest that typically happens with this tourism guide for the front page.
So I always love the contest for the cover of this. Do you know when that'll start?
It's already started.
Oh, they've already got it going.
Yeah, actually,
Okay.
they've been
I
voting
missed it.
on it for a couple months.
So the contest already underway. More detail.
IllinoisTimes.com cover contest. We will.
Got it,
I will
yes.
share that. I just missed it. Thank you very much.
And we started it earlier for this edition because we included photography as well as an art contest as well. So we expanded the medians on that. And so really we just got more submissions at this point, and so looking forward to unveiling that.
Lovely.
In a
And when's
month or
the
so.
decision deadline on that one then?
February 18th is the deadline.
February the 18th is the
Go and
deadline.
start voting.
Thank you, James, with Illinois Times.
So, IllinoisTimes.com/cover contest.
Authorizing payment in the amount of...
Let's see if we can pull that up and take a look at what they got going on. Let's see here. The cover contest from the Illinois Times. A bunch of different ideas and details about what's the option and who the sponsors are and some of the voting that you can do. These different types of artist renditions of either photography or paintings or so on. So, yeah, again, if you want to sound off on this, you can do so. IllinoisTimes.com/cover contest. And that, of course, is going to be the new tourism guide for the city of Springfield. And you could have, your options as printed on the front page of that. All right, stay tuned. We got more coming up of the council roundup, including conversation about cannabis and some businesses wanting to set up in certain locations, but they got to get different types of variances. So we'll talk about that coming up as well. Stay tuned. Much more of the council roundup here on WMAY, now 7:32. Let's get a headline check.
92.7 WMAY.
Here are the 3 big things you need to know.
I'm Don Howard. Our top story, Omaha police say they fatally shot a man who entered a Target store with an AR-15 style rifle and 13 magazines of ammunition yesterday afternoon. He fired multiple times as he entered, but Omaha police chief said officers searched the store for victims and no injured people were found. Officers received at least 29 911 calls around noon Tuesday and arrived within minutes. A Target spokesman said all customers and workers were safely evacuated. The suspect, a white man in his early 30s, had still not been identified early this morning. A major Springfield employer is laying off dozens of workers. Wells Fargo has cut 140 positions from its home lending operations in Springfield. The State Journal-Register reports the jobs were eliminated from the company's correspondent business, which purchases mortgages originated by other lenders. Wells Fargo had reportedly been planning to eliminate that division for several years. Wells Fargo continues to maintain other jobs in its customer lending division at its local headquarters on West Wabash. Illinois has a new state superintendent of schools. The State Board of Education has chosen Dr. Tony Sanders to take on that job. Sanders has been the superintendent of Elgin School District U46, the second largest school district in the state. He had also previously worked for the State Board of Education and the St. Louis school system. He succeeds Dr. Carmen Ayala, who recently announced her retirement. Springfield's police chief condemned the actions of members of a Memphis Police Special Street Crimes Unit implicated in the beating death of Tyree Nichols while appearing live with WMAY's Greg Bishop. Like Memphis, Springfield has its own street crimes unit, which Chief Ken Scarlett says plays an important role in dealing with gang crimes and getting illegal guns off the street. Scarlett said there are multiple safeguards in place in Springfield to prevent such an occurrence here and to ensure that officers comply with department policy. Candidate for Springfield mayor and current city treasurer Misty Buscher says she would like to turn the beach house at Lake Springfield into a summertime gathering spot with picnic tables, a playground, an area for bocce ball, and a small performance stage. Buscher commissioned some drawings at her own expense to get an idea of what the space might look like. Lake Springfield has been closed for swimming since a 2009 drowning there. Buscher would not reopen the lake for swimming, but says the beach could be used for volleyball. A Springfield man was found guilty of federal charges stemming from the January 6th insurrection at the U.S. Capitol. Thomas Adams Jr. was convicted of entering a restricted building and obstructing an official proceeding. Authorities identified Adams based on comments he made shortly after the unrest to the online publication Insider. Adams, who was seen holding a Trump flag on the floor of the U.S. Senate, told the interviewer that the Capitol riot was a really fun time. Adams will remain free until his sentencing in June. Your dependable 5-day forecast is next on WMAY.
News sponsored by 7th Street Cidery, Central Illinois' first cidery. Now open next door to Obed and Isaac's in downtown Springfield. Springfield has so many must-see destinations when you come to visit, such as the Abraham Lincoln Presidential Museum, Bicentennial Plaza, and don't forget 7th Street Cidery. Yes, 7th Street Cidery, Central Illinois' first cidery, is quickly becoming a destination for their great selection of locally sourced ciders, meads, and perries in a warm, rustic atmosphere. Located at 503 South 7th Street next to Obed and Isaac's and across from Lincoln's home, near great shopping and history in the heart of downtown Springfield. 7th Street Cidery.
If you love barbecue and tasty butts drive you nuts, wiggle on over to Lil Willie's Smokehouse. Fresh smoked barbecue that you're gonna love. What's your pleasure? Brisket, pork, chicken? Lil Willie's got it. And all of the classic sides, like homemade mac and cheese and cornbread. Follow your nose to the smoke at Lil Willie's Smokehouse. Ask about Willie's Rewards, where you get points for eating barbecue. Lil Willie's Smokehouse at the corner of South Grand and MacArthur, Wiggle Central.
For more information, visit littlewilliesbbq.com.
Update your bathroom with help from Menards. A brand new Magic Woods vanity is the perfect addition to your bathroom. Magic Woods offers innovative, trend-setting styles to match your lifestyle. With many sophisticated styles to choose from, it's easy to find the right vanity for you. Right now, save big money on vanities from Magic Woods. Plus, check out all the great deals going on now at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
3120 Montvale Drive, Springfield.
Where do you go when you want to get in shape?
The Body Quest Store, the Body Quest Store.
High quality exercise equipment for your home.
The Body Quest Store, the Body Quest Store.
The quest for the healthier you begins at
The Body Quest Store, the Body Quest Store.
3120 Montvale Drive.
The Body Quest Store, the Body Quest Store.
787-9930.
The Body Quest Store, the Body Quest Store.
The quest for the healthier you begins at the Body Quest Store. 3120 Montvale Drive, Springfield.
Hi, it's Taylor Stevens from Synergy Home Care. Catch our business spotlight this afternoon at 5:40 on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk.
Everywhere you are, everywhere you live, with TuneIn Radio, the WMAY app, or listen at home with your Amazon smart speaker. 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk.
Springfield's dependable 5-day forecast on WMAY. Looks like sunny skies at least through the weekend. Today, high near 33, low around 22. Tomorrow, sunny with a high near 41, low tomorrow night around 13. Friday, sunny with a high near 23, low around 16. Saturday, mostly sunny and breezy with a high near 41. Sunday, mostly sunny with a high near 51. And Monday, partly sunny with a high near 53. I'm Don Howard, 92.7 WMAY.
Weather sponsored by Lauterbach Tire and Auto, home of Stage 2 service. Drive safely now.
The Verlo Mismatch Sale is back. It's our biggest sale of the year. Mismatch on the outside, the same Verlo long-lasting craftsmanship on the inside. So hurry in now and save an additional 10% off every mattress and box spring. Wake up, sleep better. Verlo.
Why waste another night on a mattress that's not comfortable or supportive? This is Caleb Kitzman with Verlo Mattress. Our mattresses aren't dropped off by the truckload like most mattress stores. At Verlo, we handcraft every mattress in our local factory. That means we custom fit a mattress for you, not the other way around. Stop in this month and pair any of our mattresses with an adjustable base and get up to $200 off. Verlo Mattress. We're not just building a better mattress, we're building a better night's sleep for less.
The Verlo Mismatch Sale is back. It's our biggest sale of the year. Mismatch on the outside, the same Verlo long-lasting craftsmanship on the inside. So hurry in now and save an additional 10% off every mattress and box spring. Wake up, sleep better. Verlo.
Register today for the Lincoln Presidential Half Marathon. Run where Lincoln walked. Take to the streets on Saturday, April 1st. Your run begins and ends downtown with an amazing post-race party on Adams Street between 4th and 5th, featuring Buzzbomb Brewery, Cafe Moxo, and Kidsium. Want to help keep the course safe or keep our runners hydrated? Volunteer opportunities are available as well. The Lincoln Presidential Half Marathon, Saturday, April 1st. Register today at lincolnhalf.com.
Order your sub from the new Head West in-store kiosks, and you get a free brownie. Free brownie.
I don't want the same old thing. I got a craving for a Head West brownie today. Yeah!
To protect his family from disaster, Steve used his camera phone. Done. By taking pictures of his important documents, Steve can always have them stored online. Learn more simple disaster prep tips at ready.gov. A message from FEMA and the Ad Council.
92.7 WMAY.
Springfield's News and Talk.
Now we're back with the Council Roundup, brought to you by Head West Subs. When you want a great sub, you've got to head west. Their downtown location open for lunch. Don't forget about deliveries. Head West Subs. When you want a great sub, you've got to head west. So last night's Springfield City Council Committee of the Whole, they're going through ordinances that are either going to be put on the consent agenda or they're going to be put on the debate agenda. A lot of it dealing with the spending of tax dollars, and one set of measures dealt with the Springfield Police Department. So you had the police chief up there to answer some of the questions about what exactly is going on here with the spending requests. And let's go ahead and hear one of those spending requests.
Authorizing payment in the amount of $64,635 to Richland Community College, doing business as Macon County Law Enforcement Training Center for the Springfield Police Department.
So this is a contract that helps train new Springfield police cadets, and they're looking at hiring more. We talked with the police chief yesterday, and he said, hey, the deadline's coming up for people to apply to take tests for becoming a police officer. So if you know somebody that's interested, be sure to contact Springfield Police and get set up for that application process. But here's the police chief, Ken Scarlett, talking a bit about this contract.
Are we considering opening up our own academy out here?
Not to the extent where we would meet all the requirements and expectations set forth by LSB. I don't think we have the manpower, the time, or the facility to be able to do something like that.
I graduated from there, you know.
Yes.
Okay.
We won't hold that against them.
That's right.
So the question really was, is the city able to do this on their own instead of contracting it out? The training aspect, and the police chief saying they just don't have the capacity to do such a thing. So continuing on with yet another request to spend money, this one dealing with other things concerning the Springfield Police.
In the amount of $65,000 to ShotSpotter Incorporated for the Respond Annual Subscription Services from September 30th, 2022 through September 29, 2023 for the Springfield Police Department.
Move for consent.
So again, you've got contracts for ShotSpotter. That's the listening device that allows for police to get a heads up in certain areas of town where there might be some shots that are fired. But there's also a contract that they need for radio communications.
With AT&T for Complete Link 2.0 mark for radio circuits of various transmitters in the amount of $62,500 for a total amount not to exceed $158,500 for the Springfield Police Department.
Radio communications, very important. If you don't have proper communication, then you're not going to be able to get to where you need to be. So obviously we want to make sure to have those contracts updated. But with that comes a taxpayer cost, as with all of these measures that the city of Springfield ultimately is moving forward for final passage. All right, so after that, they had a citizen address the council, and it dealt with cannabis, and in particular the issue of cannabis licensing and where those licenses are going to be set up. They had an individual there to speak in front of the council on the committee of the whole.
My name's William Bishop III.
And he's the proprietor of several cannabis businesses.
Principal owner of N Labs 1, N Labs 2, and Bishop Communications Group, locally based companies here in Springfield.
Bishop Communications Group, oh my gosh. What if I wanted that title? What if I oh man, he beat me to it. What are you going to do? All right. So moving on, he talks about why he's there to have a cannabis business set up in one particular location in Springfield. This after getting cannabis business licenses for up in Chicago, getting cannabis business licenses elsewhere throughout the state. He was able to get a craft grower license in the city of Springfield, so he's wanting to set that up in one particular location.
I found the location to locate this craft grow. And it's located on the west side in Alderman Hanauer's ward at the Parkway Point Theater. They already have a cannabis retail location there, Maribis. I've spoken with the owners of that company, and they're perfectly fine with it. And, there's a variance that I have to seek.
And Mr. Bishop talking about that variance a bit.
Something that's never been done. Guess what? None of the other communities in the nation is doing this. Y'all stuck your necks out there and did something different. And I applaud y'all for that. And sometimes we might have feelings towards each other, but sometimes we got to put them feelings aside, work with one another, build some bridges in this community, and come together and make this a better place for all of us.
And he continues.
If I have any questions, I'm here to try to get this relief done, and
And he's got to get that relief, a zoning relief, and the alderman asking all kinds of questions. Roy Williams Jr., Springfield alderman, supporting this effort, as he did with others.
I'll just leave it at that. I support you, just like I supported Mr. Pagenzi, just like I supported Damian Johnson. And I think this is going to go on and on and on until we educate ourselves and understand all the different aspects of the marijuana industry and really realize that it's just like, driving down the stores. And if I don't want to go in that building, I just drive right by it.
Alderwoman Conley raising some questions.
I've had people reach out with very significant concerns about that much of a reduction from the setback that we established. And that setback was part of getting that ordinance passed. Mm-hmm. I mean, that was part of what we had to get used to. And you're right, we're getting more experience with the industry. We're seeing how it works. We're seeing, maybe some hiccups and things along the way. If you could just get me a little more information.
And that's what he said he's there doing, is getting out in front of this so that he can get those setbacks to have a craft grow operation inside a former movie theater where there's already the dispensary Maribis already set up, and he's in communication with them to set up a craft grow in the same building. And moving forward, they've got to get certain setbacks because it might be too close to some residential areas, or it might be too close to some of the areas that the city carved out as saying you can't have a cannabis business X number of feet from this particular place, be it a home, be it a church, be it a school, and so on. So you can see kind of how a lot of this is moving forward, and they're trying to get all these pieces together. Next up is Alderman Donnellan.
We were one of the first to do it. I thought we were innovative and had vision to even consider it as a possibility in this community.
Most definitely.
And, we have to, in order to get it passed, that's why those numbers were put into place. It wouldn't have passed otherwise. Trust me, I was in on those conversations.
And this was, of course, several years ago while they were piecing together how exactly to move forward with cannabis sales in Springfield. Alderman McMiniman, he raised issue with a whole host of things, including recent stories about research done on how many kids are consuming cannabis, and the reports are there's an increased number of kids going to hospitals because they mistakenly consumed cannabis.
It's because people who get with cannabis, they forget what they're doing, they forget where they put it, they get forgetful, they walk away from it, and that stuff is left around. That's how the kids are taking it. I don't think a parent is given the gummy balls to digest. They're left around. And so I think it's a medical hazard for our children. It's a learning hazard. And I just don't want the conversation around this horseshoe to ever forget the fact that Decatur said no to dispensaries within their city. Chatham said no. And I don't think it was a great vision for this community to say yes. I just think we were headed down the wrong path, and I think history eventually will show that. I don't know whether all the miserable schooling scores we're seeing from our children is because of COVID, cannabis, or a mixture of everything, but it's very upsetting.
So Alderman McMiniman raising his concerns, but Mr. Bishop there seeking a variance says, hey, every household's different.
I have 4 children that was raised in a cannabis-friendly house. I have 3 college degrees. Another kid's getting ready to graduate from high school. Education starts at the house, at home, okay? And if you educate your kids correctly, spend time with them, you don't have to worry about those things. They'll make the right decisions when the time comes.
And finally here, Alderman McMiniman sharing another experience he's had, not to diminish anybody else's experience, but he talked about his time in the military.
I remember when we were first going out and testing for cannabis, and we'd get 20% hit rates in some of the armories. And we had a lot of problems with safety and morale and discipline, and a lot of that got cleaned up after when we got down to only 2%, 1% hit rates.
So I imagine we're actually going to hear a lot more about Mr. Bishop's request to get a variance to set up a cannabis business in a former movie theater where there's already a cannabis business there. So a lot of discussions yet to be had. That's your council roundup here. Springfield's Morning News on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk. It's brought to you by Head West Subs. When you want a great sub, you've got to head west. Let's take a break after a look at that forecast where you've got a high today of 33, the low of 22, sunshine today and tomorrow with the high up to 41. Friday, sunny with a high of only 23, but warming up Saturday with mostly sunny skies, the high of 41. Sunday, the high of 51 with sunshine. And Monday, mostly cloudy with a high of 53. Right now, 8 degrees at 751 from Culver's West on Wabash.
It's time to apply at Culver's West on Wabash. We're hiring all positions. And did we mention free food? Only at Culver's West on Wabash.
It's the time of year when the best part of your day might very well be getting out of the weather and getting into your nice, comfortable home. But is your home as comfortable as it could be? It can be with MB Heating and Cooling. First of all, a service agreement with MB Heating and Cooling makes sure that your furnace is working at peak capacity and optimum performance. You save money, you extend the life of your equipment, all at big savings. You can find out more about service agreements at mb-heating.com. But don't forget about the other services MB offers, like a humidifier. As part of your heating system, it would make a huge difference in indoor air quality and comfort. You can ask the team at MB about one when you schedule your service appointment. And maybe it's time for a new furnace all the way around. If your furnace is old and tired and not as efficient as it should be, it's time for a new one. Talk to the folks at MB Heating and Cooling. Again, you can go to mb-heating.com or call 217-544-HEAT, 217-544-4328.
Anxiety. There's plenty of it to go around for just about everyone these days. But the question is, how are you dealing with it? Anxiety can make things difficult. If you find yourself reaching for drugs or alcohol as the solution, chances are your anxiety has gotten out of control. It's time to pick up the phone and call Gateway Foundation. You'll talk with someone who holds the strictest confidentiality so that you can open up and learn about treatment options. Our team of professional counselors, therapists, psychiatrists, and physicians have a long history of helping people like you get back on track. During the healing process, you'll find that there is nothing to be ashamed of. Calling Gateway Foundation is that important first step towards getting away from the self-medication of alcohol and other substances and on the road towards safe, rewarding, and sustainable recovery. Call Gateway Foundation at 877-505-HOPE for a free, private, confidential screening. Gateway Foundation, addiction medicine saving lives.
Whoa! We can't clean up that search history. But we can clean your office, your school, your church, or other awesome workplace. Get your free estimate online at cleanimpactllc.com. Impact. Clean Impact. Can't clean up your dirty martini? But we can clean your office, your school, your church, hospital, or other amazing workplace. Get your free estimate online at cleanimpactllc.com.
Hey, John, when you think of the word supply chain, what's your next impulse?
No, turn off the news, run for cover, start whimpering.
Yeah, well, a customer of Dick Van Dyke Appliance World wrote in that they visited the store wanting to buy a microwave.
Something that used to be so simple.
Oh, right. You know what they walked out with?
Let me guess. A microwave.
Exactly. Dick Van Dyke had what they needed in stock, and the customer also remarked as to how helpful the salespeople were, too. Supply chain problems are still a thing, but this customer got the help they needed, and they wrote in to thank us.
You know, a little less whimpering in today's world can't be a bad thing.
This is Dennis Reekin, chairman of Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. Supply chain issues are minimized when you have multiple locations and people who know how to help you with your next purchase. All we do is appliances, and we do them better than anyone else. Wow!
Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store.
Start the new year off with a bang at Hendricks Home Furnishings going on now. Take up to 30% off tag sale prices on all in-stock Lazy Boy furniture. That's right, up to 30% off of Hendricks' already discounted sale prices, not from MSRP or list prices like the other stores. In stock and ready for delivery only at Central Illinois' go-to store for Lazy Boy deals. Family-owned Hendricks Home Furnishings, delivering fine furniture since 1949 on Route 4 in Verdon.
Attention! If you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out heart-stopping letters, aggressively garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance, and you better watch out because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it seem impossible to ever get out of debt. Don't let the tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, the #1 tax resolution firm. They're experts in the Fresh Start Initiative, one of the biggest breaks that the IRS has ever offered. If you qualify, you could save thousands. Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, they'll fight to get you the best deal possible. Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-467-2766. 800-467-2766. 800-467-2766.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Springfield's Morning News with Greg Bishop. Weekdays 6 till 9 on 92.7 WMAY.
Let's take a look at some headlines real quick here with Springfield's Morning News. Outside of the radio show, I'm also the associate editor for the Center Square, where some of the headlines are: Illinois Attorney General to request expedited review of the gun ban challenge that was upheld by an appellate court. We talked in great detail about this earlier this morning, but here's Attorney Thomas DeVore explaining a bit of the issue ahead and how the courts decided that they upheld the challenge that the gun ban in Illinois violated equal protections. Here's Thomas DeVore in the conversation we had yesterday, and you can hear more detail on WMAY.
One, this is not about training. It has nothing to do with training. It doesn't make any sense. And to the extent it is about training, we have a right to then seek that training as well as citizens and not lose our right to purchase and possess and not register these weapons.
DeVore also saying that while some are reporting this goes statewide, it doesn't go statewide, but it could go statewide in other courts.
That opinion would be binding on every circuit court in the state that might choose to consider this issue.
Something else, too, that's in the news is Governor J.B. Pritzker has set May 11th, which, interestingly enough, is actually my birthday. But May 11th is set for when the COVID-19 disaster is set to end. It's also the time that President Joe Biden has declared the end of the COVID-19 disaster. And Governor Pritzker, for nearly 3 years now, has been issuing COVID-19 disaster proclamations. Wirepoint's President Ted Dabrowski has been very critical of this, and he says that this is an ongoing problem with the governor having too much power.
It's good that he's finally ending it, but he's not ending it because he's ending it. He's ending it because President Biden's ending it. So he doesn't deserve any kudos. He should have ended this months, maybe even more than a year ago or 2 years ago.
And he suggested that the State House needs to get control of the executive authority somebody has in times of disasters. So we'll see if that happens. But a lot of people asking, why May 11th? Well, the President of the United States saying that, hey, May 11th is when the disaster is going to end, and that's a way to kind of start easing down some of the payments that are going out for people who get COVID in the hospital. They get extra payments at the hospital, money for tests, money for vaccines and whatnot. But something else is well in the news. A new state superintendent of schools being announced in Tony Sanders. And he was announced, he's formerly of the Elgin School District, but not everybody's on board with this. You've got Awake, Illinois that is very critical of this, and Shannon Adcock raising concern on a whole host of issues, especially his performance.
My heart is really breaking for the students of this state. Given Governor Pritzker's election, this superintendent is more reflective of the governor's politics than of leadership that is truly empowering students to reach their greatest potential.
And Adcock was also critical of the handling of the COVID pandemic in Elgin schools, where Tony Sanders was the superintendent there, including video last year that had a child in a classroom not wearing a mask, being told to stay in that classroom and being forcefully the door kept closed. It's a pretty compelling video, but those are just some of the headlines.
From the Fly SPI Studios, take the easy way out. WMAY FM, Taylorville, Springfield's News and Talk is 92.7 WMAY.
Here's the latest from ABC News. I'm Jim Ryan. A winter storm pushing across much of the country has turned deadly in Texas. At least 3 people have died in crashes on slick roads. Michael Ray is with the North Texas Tollway Authority and says trucks have been spreading salt and sand, but
as people drive over it and we have to reapply it, it'll be an ongoing fight. Sounds like for the next couple of days.
The storm also has knocked out power in large parts of the state. 230,000 homes and businesses are in the dark. Later today, Tyree Nichols will be laid to rest in Memphis. The Reverend Al Sharpton delivers the eulogy. Meanwhile, ABC News reports major discrepancies between Nichols' deadly beating caught on body cam video and the official police report.
The police report omits officers kicking and punching Nichols, though it's seen on several cameras, saying only one officer deployed his baton while giving verbal commands to stop resisting, striking him several times in the right arm. The report later claiming officers were able to take Nichols into custody after several verbal commands. But the body cam video shows Nichols injured and slumped on a car as officers stand by.
That's ABC's Justin Finch in Memphis. 5 police officers have been fired and charged with second-degree murder. Their specialized unit disbanded. In Washington, the Federal Reserve is expected to announce another interest rate hike to curb historic inflation. An increase of 0.25% is widely expected. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy heads to the White House today to meet with President Biden to talk about raising the nation's debt ceiling. A mass shooting may have been stopped in Nebraska. Omaha Police Chief Tom Schmatter says a man opened fire with an assault-style rifle inside a Target store.
The first arriving officers went into the building, confronted the suspect, and shot him dead.
Nobody inside was hurt. Store employees had recently gone through active shooter training. Police say the attacker, a man in his 30s, had 13 magazines of ammunition with him. This is ABC News.
Never completely ready to adopt a teen.
For late nights writing English papers.
For your teen's music taste.
For dinners where they talk more on their phone than with you.
For the first time, they call you mom.
You're never completely ready to adopt a teen, and you can't imagine the reward.
To learn more about adopting a teen, visit adoptuskids.org.
Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Remember the last time your family visited the forest? It's a place of wonder and imagination for the whole family, where stories come to life. And it's closer than you think. Ready to plan your next visit? Make the forest part of your story today at a local park near you, or find one at discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad.
All right, coming up this half hour, we'll talk about a virtual blood drive that you can take part in, but also a review of what's going on in and around the Springfield business community. So that's next up here this next half hour with Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop on WMAY. It's now 8:04.
News.
Weather.
92.7 WMAY. Springfield's news and talk.
I'm Don Howard. Our top story, a divided Illinois appeals court upheld a temporary restraining order by an Effingham County judge against the state's recently enacted assault weapons ban. The appeals court reversed the rulings on 3 counts in the suit, but affirmed the finding that the ban violated the Equal Protection Clause because it created numerous exemptions to the ban. The decision will be appealed to the Illinois Supreme Court, and several other lawsuits against the ban continue to move through state and federal courts. Candidate for Springfield mayor and current city treasurer Misty Buscher says she would like to turn the beach house at Lake Springfield into a summertime gathering spot with picnic tables, a playground, an area for bocce ball, and a small performance stage. Buscher commissioned some drawings at her own expense to get an idea of what the space might look like. Lake Springfield has been closed for swimming since a 2009 drowning there. Buscher would not reopen the lake for swimming, but says the beach could be used for volleyball. The Springfield Lucky Horseshoes baseball team announced Monday that it has commissioned a 450-square-foot video board for Robin Roberts Stadium. The team says the video board will enhance the fan experience by offering real-time stats, headshots of players, live fan cam footage, and digital advertising for the team's partners. Ace Sign Company is creating the sign, which will stand more than 14 feet high and 32 feet across. The sign will be installed in May, just before the start of the 2023 season. Nearly 3 years after his initial proclamation, Governor J.B. Pritzker has announced that his recurring declaration of a public health emergency will expire on May 11th. Pritzker initially declared a public health emergency in March of 2020, just days before implementing a stay-at-home order at the start of the pandemic. The decision to end the emergency declaration follows similar action by the federal government, but Pritzker says COVID is not over and still poses a danger. More than 400 Illinoisans died of COVID in January. Your dependable 5-day forecast is next on WMAY.
There are 3 words I always hear when someone from our staff is on the phone. We got it. Hi, it's Laurie from Rex Battery, and whenever somebody calls us and asks if we have a certain type of battery, the answer is always, we got it. Even in those very rare instances we don't, we know how to get it. And if we don't know how to get it, we'll build it. That's how committed we are to making sure you have the power you need. From model cars to real cars, from toys to tractors, dog collars to doorbells, riding mowers to remote keys. If it takes a battery, we have it at Rex Battery. Over 75,000 batteries in stock right now. So if you're wondering if we've got a battery, yep, we've got it. They're fresh, fully charged, and ready to go. Keeping Central Illinois fully powered for over 60 years. Rex Battery, Clear Lake, west of Dirksen.
Rex with a double X battery. Generations of power.
3120 Montvale Drive, Springfield.
Where do you go when you want to get in shape?
The Body Quest Store, the Body Quest Store.
High quality exercise equipment for your home.
The Body Quest Store, the Body Quest Store.
The quest for the healthier you begins at
The Body Quest Store, the Body Quest Store.
3120 Montvale Drive.
The Body Quest Store, the Body Quest Store.
787-9930.
The Body Quest Store, the Body Quest Store.
The quest for the healthier you begins at the Body Quest Store. 3120 Montvale Drive, Springfield.
The shortest distance between you and a Head West sub is now through the new in-store kiosks.
I don't want the same old thing. I got a craving for a Head West brownie today. Yeah!
To protect his family from disaster, Steve used his camera phone. Done. By taking pictures of his important documents, Steve can always have them stored online. Learn more simple disaster prep tips at ready.gov. A message from FEMA and the Ad Council.
Listen and watch interviews with the biggest newsmakers. Subscribe to 92.7 WMAY on YouTube.
Springfield's dependable 5-day forecast on WMAY. Looks like sunny skies at least through the weekend. Today, high near 33, low around 22. Tomorrow, sunny with a high near 41, low tomorrow night around 13. Friday, sunny with a high near 23, low around 16. Saturday, mostly sunny and breezy with a high near 41. Sunday, mostly sunny with a high near 51. And Monday, partly sunny with a high near 53. I'm Don Howard, 92.7 WMAY.
Weather sponsored by Lauterbach Tire and Auto, home of Stage 2 service. Drive safely now.
Springfield Supportive Living. Are you young enough?
They're always doing something special for us.
I like the bowling game upstairs, and I play bingo.
The entertainment they have, it's always good.
I've made some nice friends.
I like the people here. Residents and the staff are both very, very nice.
It's a great place.
I love it.
Springfield Supportive Living. Are you young enough? If you want to bank safe from anywhere, get the app you can use everywhere. Your money's right in your hand. Nobody loves you like Heartland. Get a loan, pay a bill when you're on the go. Deposit that check right from your phone. Download our app and you can. Nobody loves you like Heartland. We're like a bank, but only better, 'cause you're a member. Bank like you own the place. Heartland Credit Union.
That to-do list you have needs one more thing. Chill. It's an easy thing to do. Just crack open an ice-cold Coors Light and chill. Take the afternoon off and binge watch anything. Go to happy hour and stay for a couple hours. Who's counting anyways? Or hang out with just your dog, because you've had enough human interaction this week. Whatever you do, do it with a Coors Light. Mountain Cold Refreshment made to chill. 2020 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly.
Less frustration, more vacation. Book a nonstop flight from Springfield's Abraham Lincoln Capitol Airport, SPI to Fort Myers, Punta Gorda at Allegiant.com and experience the sun, fun, and relaxation of Southwest Florida. Find low fares and save big by bundling at Allegiant.com. Fly from SPI and spend more time enjoying vacation. Book your flight from SPI at Allegiant.com. Fly local. Fly SPI. Take the easy way out.
Take the easy way out.
92.7 WMAY. Springfield's news and talk.
My wife Megan's already laid pretty thick on what I need to get her for Valentine's Day, and that's some chocolate-covered strawberries. Don't worry, I haven't forgotten. I got to put that order in. But of course, Valentine's Day is another way for you to even give more than just to your loved one. You can give an incredible gift of life by donating blood. And joining us right now to talk about an effort that's going on with Impact Life, we've got Tara Matheson and also Jim Watts to talk about a virtual blood drive. Thanks for taking time with us this morning. Let's go ahead and get into it. What is going on with a virtual blood drive?
Well, you guys are fantastic, and your Midwest Family Broadcasting is hosting a virtual blood drive, ultimately a plea to really give back to save someone's life. Blood cannot be manufactured. It has to come from a human, and we need to have the blood on the shelves when it's needed.
And this obviously is a huge issue when it comes to surgeries, when it comes to emergencies. There are individuals who might have to have blood transfusions, and where does that blood come from? It doesn't come from some, manufacturing hub. No, it comes from individuals like you and I, and you can give blood. But this virtual drive, obviously you can't give blood virtually, but how does this operate? How does this work?
Yeah, so we're looking for folks to go ahead and schedule your appointment right now for Valentine's Day. You can go to bloodcenter.org, find the best time that works for you at our Springfield Donor Center or our Decatur Donor Center. Find that spot for you and give what's in your heart. And
with Impact Life, of course, there are some incentives that people can get if they do donate. Talk a bit about the incentives you guys are offering this month.
Well, as a small thank you, we're offering a choice of a $10 gift card. There's a bunch of places that you can get the $10 gift card from. And what's the other choice, Jim?
We also have our St. Patrick's Day Kelly Green T-shirt this year.
Just in time for St. Patrick's Day. You can't go wrong with that. And of course, if you donate, and even if you get there and you find out you can't donate, people can still take part in that gift.
Absolutely.
So make it happen. Again, it is the virtual blood drive. Schedule your giving donation. February 14th is kind of a target. Of course, it's Valentine's Day, and what better way to celebrate Valentine's Day than giving what's in your heart to help those individuals who need that blood, either for surgeries or emergencies. And I'm sure that some professionals out there can give an entire list of all the different things they need blood donations for. And of course, I guess you guys are looking for certain types of blood. It depends on the season sometimes, but talk a bit about the types of blood that you really looking for.
Well, we need all types, right? But then there's O negative, the constant need for O negative, and that's really because if you are an O negative blood donor, your blood donation can go to anyone who needs it. A trauma patient comes in and they don't know their blood type, they can receive that O negative that they have on hand. So really important to have that particular type. But right now, every single blood type is needed just to keep that blood supply strong.
Impact Life with their virtual blood drive. It's underway now. Of course, February 14th is kind of the target date for you to donate. Tara Matheson and Jim Watts with us to talk about this. If people need more information, what's the website they can find that at?
You can go to bloodcenter.org to find more information about this virtual blood drive and then also to set up that appointment.
And our sister station, WNNS, is going to act as an anchor of sorts to keep this going. And you'll hear a lot more about this in the days ahead as we encourage you to register and schedule that time for you to give blood for Impact Life. Tara, Jim, thank you both for taking time with us. Best of luck, and let's get those blood donations going, all right?
Thanks for having us.
All right, it is Springfield's Morning News on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk, now 8:15. And let's take a break and come back for Business in the 217 and more to wrap up this half hour on WMAY. But first, let's take a look at Springfield's dependable 5-day forecast, where today you've got a high of 33. It's going to be sunny, wind chill only about single digits throughout the day, but the low down to 22 tonight, partly cloudy skies. Thursday, mostly sunny, the high of 41. But Friday, the high of only 23 with sunshine. It's going to warm up Saturday with a high of 41, mostly sunny, and even warmer Sunday with a high of 51. And then Monday, mostly cloudy with a high of 53. Right now, it's 8 degrees out there at 8:15 from Culver's West on Wabash.
It's time to apply at Culver's West on Wabash. We're hiring all positions, and did we mention free food? Only at Culver's West on Wabash.
Hello, my name is Grant Auberg, and I'm the office manager for Synergy Home Care of Central Illinois and our Springfield office. We have 4 offices in the Central Illinois area, and we have a family that is spread around the Central Illinois area, and their parents are here in Springfield. We were there with the husband and wife, and unfortunately the wife passed away, and that grieving process with the husband was hard, and where we were able to step in and be there for him. And his family then wanted to come be there with him, but it was hard to get out because of other responsibilities. We realized, with our other offices, we can help take the load off of that individual's plate so he can come and spend time with his father. And that's what we were able to do. And that's what Synergy is that ability to take the load off of the family's plate so they can provide that love and that care to their loved one. You can find us at synergyhomecare.com or give us a call at 217-303-8555.
Synergy Home Care, care for everyone.
Anxiety. There's plenty of it to go around for just about everyone these days, but the question is, how are you dealing with it? Anxiety can make things difficult. If you find yourself reaching for drugs or alcohol as the solution, chances are your anxiety has gotten out of control. It's time to pick up the phone and call Gateway Foundation. You'll talk with someone who holds the strictest confidentiality so that you can open up and learn about treatment options. Our team of professional counselors, therapists, psychiatrists, and physicians have a long history of helping people like you get back on track. During the healing process, you'll find that there is nothing to be ashamed of. Calling Gateway Foundation is that important first step towards getting away from the self-medication of alcohol and other substances and on the road towards safe, rewarding, and sustainable recovery. Call Gateway Foundation at 877-505-HOPE for a free, private, confidential screening. Gateway Foundation, addiction medicine saving lives.
The Verlo Mismatch Sale is back. It's our biggest sale of the year. Mismatch on the outside, the same Verlo long-lasting craftsmanship on the inside. So hurry in now and save an additional 10% off every mattress and box spring. Wake up, sleep better. Verlo.
Why waste another night on a mattress that's not comfortable or supportive? This is Caleb Kitzman with Verlo Mattress. Our mattresses aren't dropped off by the truckload like most mattress stores. At Verlo, we handcraft every mattress in our local factory. That means we custom fit a mattress for you, not the other way around. Stop in this month and pair any of our mattresses with an adjustable base and get up to $200 off. Verlo Mattress. We're not just building a better mattress, we're building a better night's sleep for less.
The Verlo Mismatch Sale is back. It's our biggest sale of the year. Mismatch on the outside, the same Verlo long-lasting craftsmanship on the inside. So hurry in now and save an additional 10% off every mattress and box spring. Wake up, sleep better. Verlo.
What's the best thing to do with your money during uncertain times? Financial experts agree products like certificates of deposit and money market accounts can be a safe haven from a bumpy economy. At Warren Boynton State Bank, we've been helping people find ways for their money to make money for 145 years. Certificates of deposit, or CDs, give you a guaranteed return on your money. Money market accounts are a way to let your money earn higher interest with the flexibility of a checking account. These are just two options we have at Warren Boynton, each designed to give your money security, and they just might help you sleep better at night. At Warren Boynton, you can say we've seen a few things over the years. A lot has happened since we opened our doors in 1877, but no matter what was going on in the rest of the world, we've stood by folks in Central Illinois. A little extra confidence during challenging economic times. Warren Boynton State Bank, WBSB.net, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Warren Boynton, your bank.
You might be surprised by how many folks we meet who have a security system in place, but it doesn't work. And they can't remember how it works, and they can't get anyone from the company to help them. Maybe we have a solution. We're Barcom Security. We're here, we're family-owned and managed, and we are 100% live all the time. 24/7, 365. You never get a recording, and the phone rarely rings more than twice. We never sleep. Check out barcomsecurity.com and have a secure day.
Recycling can be complicated if you're running a business. New rules, paperwork, security, and accountability are all factors that can be confusing. BLH Computers takes care of that recycling program from start to finish without any worries. Whether it's a television at home or 100 computers at the office. Trust BLH Computers. Pickup at your business is also available too. BLH Computers in Jacksonville, Taylorville, and Springfield, and online at blhcomputers.com.
To protect his family from disaster, Steve used his camera phone. Done. By taking pictures of his important documents, Steve can always have them stored online. Learn more simple disaster prep tips at ready.gov. A message from FEMA and the Ad Council.
All right, get over to WMAY.com and take the daily poll. Again, WMAY.com/poll. And the question is, an Illinois business leader has suggested turning the state's interstates into toll roads as an alternative to gas taxes to pay for road maintenance. Do you support that idea? Yes or no? And it looks like nearly 89% of you say no. Go vote at WMAY.com/poll. But don't only just stop there. You can also go to our contest page, WMAY.com/win, where you can find the latest contest and you can win tickets for the Illinois Symphony Orchestra's Scintillating Shakespeare. So click through WMAY.com/win and you can win tickets to the Illinois Symphony Orchestra. So get details again, WMAY.com/win. It's all available at WMAY.com.
Listen and watch the interviews with today's newsmakers on Facebook and YouTube. Like and subscribe now. Springfield's Morning News with Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY.
A lot of business happenings in and around Springfield, and that's why every Wednesday at about this time, we like connecting with Michelle Ownby, the publisher of the Springfield Business Journal. She's got her team out and looking at all of the business filings and talking to all the business leaders and gives us an idea of what to expect and where to expect it. Michelle, thanks for taking time with us this morning on WMAY, and let's get right on into it. Concepts is Pies and Pints. Is it motto? Is it Mato? Is it, which way do you cut that? Good morning.
Greg, it is motto. It's the Italian word for insane or crazy. And Nikki Sperry, along with her husband Dan and Justin Richardson, are the team behind that. Of course, they already have Vele, Curate, and Soleil Cafe. So she says, hence the name that they're crazy to take on another restaurant, right? But the grand opening is tomorrow. It is in the former Rosati's space there on South 6th Street. But even though they will be serving pizza as Rosati's did, that's pretty much where the similarities end. This is definitely a different type of concept. They're offering thin crust pizzas along with build-your-own options. Naked chicken wings, 8 different sauces. They're doing some kind of fancy appetizers. 10 different taps with a rotating list of regional craft beers. So, yes, the focus is really on Pies and Pints, as the name implies. So they will be up and running as of tomorrow if you want to go check that out.
Oh, wow. Yeah, so tomorrow is the opening of Motto, Pies and Pints, and that's going to be a restaurant opening up Well, February 2nd, looking at my calendar, and there you go. Good stuff. Another restaurant that a lot of people are excited about. We've been watching the construction happen. I even shared with you, I saw somebody on Twitter tag Raising Cane's saying, hey, Raising Cane's, if I get a tattoo, can I be your first Springfield customer? Which is a weird proposition.
That is
but
dedication.
That is definitely dedication. But tell us about Raising Cane's. What is it exactly for people who aren't familiar?
Yes, so this is basically a chicken fingers restaurant. They keep the menu extremely simple, different kinds of dipping sauces, but you won't find any hamburgers or hot dogs or anything else on the menu. You can have chicken or chicken in a variety of styles. But they have a lot of devotees, caniacs as they call themselves, and they have set an official opening date now. You may recall they've been a little back and forth on this when they announced plans last March. They had originally said they would be open in sometime in the second quarter of 2023. Then construction was going pretty well. They demolished the old Casa Real building and were moving right along. And then they were shooting for a December opening, but now they've gone back pretty much to their original date, and March 7th is it. So they are ramping up hiring right now. They say they're trying to bring about 120 people on board, and that's everything from the crew members all the way up to management. They're not taking walk-ins. It is appointment only, but they're out there doing interviews just about every day. So you can go on their website and schedule an interview.
Michelle, do you know what the fans are out there? Because when we drive by, we see the construction going up, and then I saw these large fans that are hanging from that looks like a picnic area, then fans that are over the drive-through area. Is that like a new type of marketing tactic to blow the delicious smelling chicken fingers smells out
Right.
into the busy area of that part of town? What are the fans about over there?
Well, that's not a bad idea. Maybe when you're driving down Veterans, the scent of the chicken will waft out and meet you, and you'll just have to turn your car into the parking lot and get in their double drive-through lane. I don't know.
That's a new form of advertising, I guess. So we'll see exactly how those fans are implemented. They're at Raising Cane's. They're opening up March 7th, so put that on your calendar. Michelle, before we get into these next two items, let's talk about the Springfield Business Journal and how people can get their hands on the latest publication.
Sure. You can get on our website, springfieldbusinessjournal.com, and get signed up for Biz Bites. That's our digital newsletter that comes out every week with a digest of what's happening in the business community, and it comes out Wednesday afternoon, so it's not too late. If you jump on there in the next few hours, you can still get today's edition, and of course you can also sign up to get the print edition delivered to your home or office.
It is Business in the 217. We're talking with Michelle Ombie, publisher of the Springfield Business Journal, here with Springfield's Morning News. Let's go ahead and jump into Burger Week. It's a very popular week, and there are a lot of restaurants across the area that are showing off their best burgers.
Yeah, so if all this talk about pizza and chicken hasn't made you hungry enough, let's talk about burgers. As you said, our 217 Burger Week runs through February 8th, so you've still got another week. We actually do it, it's a little bit of a misnomer. We call it Burger Week, but it's really 10 days because it's our most popular one, so we stretch it out a little bit there. And a lot of the restaurants offer off-menu items. These are not your traditional cheeseburger sort of things. We've got a Reaper Madness bourbon burger. There's a Southwest burger, even beyond traditional red meat burgers, pork fajita. Legacy Point Eatery is offering a turkey burger with rosemary and roasted garlic, a little on the fancy side. But yeah, $8 price point over 10 days, and most of the restaurants are offering Jack Daniel's drink specials as well to wash it down. So you can go to 217 Food Week and see photos of all the options if you need to plan out your eating stops.
Yeah, I get up so early in the morning that this is actually probably about the time I should be having a lunch of sorts. So all this talk, it's really getting my taste buds working, and my appetite is cranked up into full gear. Thanks for that, Michelle. Speaking of downtown, you've got all kinds of parking spots, and people always talk about parking in downtown. I fully admit I got a parking ticket the other day because I was in a spot for too long outside the Capitol, so I was able to pay my ticket, no problem. But what's going on with downtown parking?
Yeah, so there's still a lot of confusion around that, as you may have noticed. So ever since the pandemic, parking's been free. You don't have to feed the meters, but as you noted, you can still get a ticket for parking too long in one spot. So they do still have meter readers going around and enforcing the length. And there's a lot of debate over which direction to go with that. You may remember pre-pandemic, there was a proposal. The city was looking at upgrading all the parking meters, making it where you could get on your phone. You're sitting in a restaurant and you need to put a little more time on the meter, or you want to be able to pay with credit card or electronically, things like that. But then that got put on hold. Mayor Langfelder says he's kind of taking a wait-and-see approach and hoping that the downtown activity is going to continue to pick back up. So he's not ready to get rid of the meters just yet. Mayoral candidate Misty Buscher, who of course is also the city treasurer, says that she would just do away with the meters. The one thing, keep it free permanently, but the one thing that both candidates agree on is that they want to make sure the people that live and work downtown essentially aren't just hogging the meters so that the visitors and the tourists can't find a spot. And so that's why they continue to enforce the parking too long in one spot. But of course, along with Midwest Family, we co-hosted that forum, and the Greater Springfield Chamber of Commerce co-hosted that forum last Wednesday with the mayoral candidates, and we do have the complete video of that where they discuss parking, among other issues, on our website.
Hard to believe that the election is just around the corner. Where is the time going? Michelle Ombie, publisher of the Springfield Business Journal, greatly appreciate your time each and every week. And again, tell us where we can find the SBJ.
Easiest thing to do is go to springfieldbusinessjournal.com and check it all out.
Awesome. Fantastic. Greatly appreciate it. We'll talk again soon. Be safe.
All right. Thanks, Greg.
It is Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop. It's all the